Well, well, well. The season is not over, but it's Overreaction Monday. And on Overreaction Monday, we can pretty much say anything we want to say. Fire Matt Eberflus. Let's go. It is Overreaction Monday. And some people say that is not an overreaction. It's an overreaction. We may be a little too deep into the season to even do anything now. Defensive. But nevertheless, let's talk Cowboys. Welcome, Cowboy fans and Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. And as you come into this live stream, please hit that like button, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know the next time we post another video or go live. And if you haven't become a channel member or subscriber yet, please do. We have a lot of great things coming this season. Now let's talk facts. I'm just going to be honest with you at this point. I'm not even tripping on the Carolina Panthers loss anymore. It is what it is. Ain't nothing we can do about it. I do want to hear, I listened to some of Brian Schottenheimer today, and I do have some commentary I want to add to some things that he said, because got me wondering about this whole situation with Brian Schottenheimer. But let me tell you what the lineup looked like today. We're going to keep it short. There is some Monday Night Football on, and I think there are going to be 2 games tonight. So, we're going to keep it very simple today. We're going to listen to Brian Schottenheimer press conference, and I am telling you, he has a lot to say. We're going to listen to Stephen Jones on 105.3. You're going to listen to Stephen Jones on 105.3, and you might be a little bit disappointed. Player interviews, some from yesterday, some now from today. We're going to listen to those. And then I'm going to finish out this show with who hired Eberflus, because I really want to know who hired Eberflus. So, Shotty Press and Stephen Jones, player interviews, who hired Eberflus. It's Overreaction Monday. We can say what we want to say. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get a very quick roll call, because I want to get right into the show. Let's go. It's the Big Rombowski. First in the chat. What up, Big Rombowski? It's Overreaction Monday. We can say what we want to say. Let's go. John Henry. Yo, G, bless him. Daniel Lee, my right-hand man. What's going on? What's going on? Yeah, Shotty, he loved that hat. But I'm going to tell you, man, we're going to talk about Shotty. Melvin Clark, what's going on with you? Jason Lewis, what's going on? 903 up in this thing. What's going on? He said the defense is trash. Man, I can't argue with you. Yamal, what's going on? He said the defense sucks. I can't argue with you. Lord Nova 85, football fanatic in this thing. What's going on? Big Mouse Dog, Katharina Kiss. Everybody, what's going on? It's the Juice, man. What up, Juice, man? Juice Man said, I hope they left him in Carolina. Man, he with us. He came back to Dallas. Mike 405 OKC, what up? Mixed Matrix in this thing. What's up? Rob, y'all, what up with you? Good to see you. Will the IV. Oh, Will the Fourth. I see that. Will the Fourth. He said, fire Eberflus. Dominique Pittman, my man up in here. Good talking to you last night. What's up? He said, what's normal anymore? What's going on? Yeah, that defense, running dub. What's going on with you? Yeah, Douglas Harrison, what up? Robert Simmons, he said, well. He said, gee, not going to able to tune in today. Got to go to work, but I'll see you after the show tonight. Yes, sir. We're going to try to do Cowboys after dark if I don't fall asleep. Sub-Zero, what up? Mills in this thing, what up? He said, our only playoff shot is winning this division. We got no room for error. It is what it is. We got to sweep Washington, go 5-1 into the division and steal Denver game. Vikings also. Yeah, we got to get the 10 wins. We have to get the 10 wins. I'm with you. Robbie Thetford, what's going on with you? It's that man, JCT Slice. Jared Thomas, what up? He said we still have Dak Prescott. That's true. And he balled again. Yeah, he's the #1 quarterback in the league right now. Problem is he ain't got the wins. Defense is terrible right now. We got to get this thing fixed. John Jones, what up? He says, G Money. I'm going to tell you again, it's a New Jack City. Angie Gillis, she said, hello, everyone. What's going on? DC4L, Rasta Man, what's going on with you? Good to see you. PK Cowboy fan, what's going on with you? Salute. Stephen Lark in this thing. What up with you? Bo Jankovic in the house from Canada. What's going on? Good to see you. Shedrick Law up in this thing. What's going on? Devin Mills 399. Mike Fields up in here. I see all of y'all. Terry Tatum. Jay Recruiter up in this thing. What up, Jay Recruiter? Tony Nichols, appreciate that super chat. Man, Tony Nichols, he's being prophetic right now. He said, I told you, Eberflus is Nolan 2.0. He won't adapt, bounce him. Ain't nobody got time for his egos. Man, I'm going to tell you, man, that's some strange stuff going on. Some strange stuff going on with this thing with Eberflus, man. All right, let's get into this thing. Randy Jackson up in here. Pyro Cookies, what's going on? Jason White, it is the real estate vet. What's going on? Good to see everybody. Now, let's jump right into this thing with Matt Eberflus. It is the unofficial co-host, my sister Angie, the Rebel Chicks. What's going on? What's going on? The General Jr., what's going on? Good to see you. Azteca Aguilar. Juice Main 720, what's going on? Let's check out this thing with Brian Schottenheimer.
Try to keep up with our players. You try to keep up with our players. You can't do it. I guarantee you can't do it.
All right, hold on a second.
Not Sam Williams.
Yeah. Stop. Oh. It's going to be that kind of day?
Wow.
It's going to be that kind of day.
You said driving fast.
I didn't say names. It's going to be that kind of day. Okay. All right. I see what kind of day it's going to be. Okay. Yeah. You're going to get short and sweet answers. I can promise you that. Yes. No.
Next question.
Exactly. I like that better.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. What was your message to your team today after what happened yesterday?
I told them the truth. I told them that we did not play that game physical enough. When you look at it, they controlled the line of scrimmage. They owned the line of scrimmage. That's part of our identity. We were not surprised by it, but at the same time, it was one game. And we know we can be a physical football team. We know we've done that at times, but we weren't that yesterday. Different reasons. I think they did some really good scheme stuff to us on their defensive side of the ball. They two-gapped us some of their read and react stuff. They took us, they stretched us out a little bit, and I didn't think like we ever found our rhythm. Anytime you have your longest run is 6 yards, that's not very good. And then on the other side of the ball, I think that they just they wanted to come in and double team us and run duo, and our fits were off. The run fits they're hard. They're calculated, and you got to get everybody in the same gaps. And they strained us some, and they got some balls on the perimeter that we didn't have much contain for, and they hit explosives and we didn't.
Yeah, you're telling us in a nutshell you got out-coached. Yeah, you're telling us in a nutshell you got out-coached. Now, I don't really have a lot of problems with Matt Eberflus. I don't really have a lot of problems with Brian Schottenheimer. I'm riding with Brian Schottenheimer. I like Brian Schottenheimer. But Brian Schottenheimer's philosophy, I wonder where did he pick up the philosophy of being even keel? Each game is a championship opportunity. Don't get too up for a game. Don't get too down for a game, because he's made it very clear that was never his father's philosophy. And I'll be honest with you, I like his father's philosophy better. I just believe every single week, because this is where Mike McCarthy failed, guys. Mike McCarthy, and and I don't like when Brian just said it was one game. Brian, Bro, the Philadelphia Eagles lost. They're 4-2, Brian. It's not just one game. It was a game that gets you one step closer to being number one in the NFC East. That kind of talk, this kind of talk drives me crazy. Mike McCarthy, week to week, couldn't get this team prepared. We're falling into the same trap. Michael Irvin kind of pointed it out. We played the Philadelphia Eagles like we were a Super Bowl team. Played the Philadelphia Eagles like we were a doggone Super Bowl team. Played the New York Giants like we were anything but a Super Bowl team. Played the Chicago Bears like we were one of the worst teams in the league. Played the Green Bay Packers. Scored 40 points. Played the Green Bay Packers like we're one of the best teams in the league. Played the Jets like we're one of the best teams in the league. Then we come out against the Carolina Panthers, who clearly punked us and called us out. Called us out. Rico Dowdle called us out. And then the doggone team came out and backed up Rico Dowdle. We saw this in the Chicago game. It's Matt Eberflus going back to Chicago, where they literally kicked him out mid-season. Oh, it's not a revenge game. It's not that it's not that big of a deal. That's not a big deal. You're playing the team that fires your defense coordinator. If there is anything I want to prove to that team, you made a mistake. Shoot, Chicago went in there and embarrassed us. Embarrassed us. Where's the heart? Where's the drive? Where is it? I mean, that's really one of the things you get a coach for. And I'm digging. I've been digging all the stuff that Shotty's talked about with all the culture. Okay, Shotty, I'm with you. I'm digging all that talk. But what I don't dig, is when you're playing teams that you absolutely got something to play for. The Chicago game, pride game. Man, Carolina game. I bet you this. There ain't anybody on that team could have ran for 400 yards yesterday, except for Rico Dowdle. Nobody with the name Rico or nobody with the name Dowdle would have got a touchdown if I'd have been the coach. Heads would have rolled. I'm telling them, I don't care what. I don't care if you got to cheat. I don't care if you got to hold. I don't care what you do. But Rico Dowdle, you bet not let Rico Dowdle get more than 75 yards. That's not our approach. Brian, it's disingenuous. And I don't believe, and this is why I say about Brian Schottenheimer. I just don't believe what he's saying. There is nobody that could look at that game yesterday. Brian could not be going into that game. And if Brian is not saying this kind of stuff, man, something is wrong. Because I'm going to my team. When the Philadelphia Eagles lose, I'm going to my team. And you know what I'm telling them? Guys, all we have to do is take care of business. The New York Giants gifted us a loss. Our goal is to win the NFC East first, the NFC second, and then the Super Bowl. This will get us a game closer to our goal. We got the Commanders coming up. We're not going to look past the Carolina Panthers. But we can beat the Carolina Panthers, and then we get the Commanders at home. I don't get this mentality of Brian Schottenheimer like it's just another championship opportunity. Nah, man, we got to be honest with ourselves. And this ain't overreaction. We have to be honest with ourselves. There are literally pivotal games. There are literally pivotal games in a season. There are games in a season that you will look back on later and go, we screwed up on that game right there. Because we may be looking back at the tie with the Green Bay Packers. We're either going to say we screwed up with the Green Bay Packers, or we're going to say that game helped us. Yet to be seen. But we have dropped Philadelphia Eagle game. Cowboys dropped, literally. CeeDee Lamb dropped, literally, an opportunity to start out 1-0. The Chicago Bears, we literally fumbled. CeeDee Lamb injured. Got beat. Gave up a 19-play, 10-minute drive in the third quarter going into the fourth, I believe. The Carolina Panthers. You can't let these games go when you got games like what you have coming up down the stretch. The Denver Broncos, the Kansas City Chiefs, teams like that. You cannot let a game like Carolina go. And when I hear Brian Schottenheimer say it's only one game, and then start saying silly stuff like, yeah, we've been physical before. We've stopped the run before. We've done, Brian. Bro, it's game 6. You can't be talking like this in game 6. I'm telling y'all there'll never be another Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy understood every game was important. Every game is important. Every single game. There is no such thing as it's just one game. It's okay for me to say that. It's okay for y'all to say that. But to me, it's not okay for Brian Schottenheimer to say that. If my goal is the Super Bowl, I have to communicate to my team. Guys, every single game is important. And I don't know if I could literally say we approach every game the same. I don't really know if I can say that unless I'm saying that if I approach every game the same, then my goal is to destroy every team. If I'm talking like that, yes. But there are just some games. Brian Schottenheimer talked about it. His father would have Oakland Raiders week, Green Bay Packers week, Carolina Panthers. I like that approach. You know why? Because you find something every single week to say, this is why we're going to kick their butt. And if Rico Dowdle, can't motivate your defensive coordinator and motivate your defense, boy, we got a long season ahead of us. Defensively, we got a long season ahead of us. Because I'm sorry, boy, when somebody called you out the way Rico Dowdle called you out, nah, man, ain't no way I'm just looking at that and say, yeah, ain't no big deal. Man, let's listen to how crazy this is. Man, this dude Rico Dowdle, bro. Man, this dude Rico Dowdle, I'm just going to tell you. Rico Dowdle to me did what I call breaking the code, man. No, bro, you don't get to say this type of stuff. You don't get to say this, bro. This dude, Rico Dowdle, broke the code on the Cowboys, y'all. Rico Dowdle told the Cowboys to buckle up. I wish you'd have told me that, because I'd have buckled up. I promise you, there is one player that would not have done, he wouldn't have beat me. Anybody can beat me, and I don't care if anybody beats me, but it won't be somebody named Rico and nobody named Dowdle. I'm not letting nobody in this man's family beat me. Boy, this thing with Rico Dowdle, boy, this has to be one of the coldest This has to be one of the coldest call-outs of the season, y'all. I know y'all heard it already. I released a video on it.
They got to buckle up. I think they know for sure.
Rico, if your message last week was buckle up to the Cowboys, what's your message after the game?
They weren't buckled up.
Is this kind of like a message?
Oh, for sure. They got to buckle up. I think they know for sure.
Rico, if your message last week was buckle up to the Cowboys, what's your message after the game?
They weren't buckled up.
Is this kind of like a message?
Oh, for sure.
That right there. That right there makes this not be this ain't just another game when Rico Dowdle says that before the game. It's not just another game. Boy, I'm telling you, it's stuff like this that get me fired up. I don't understand it. But you're not saying this to me. Angie said $2. He said, gee, don't forget to mention this Dak fault. Hey, you know what, Angie? People are already saying this. But see, Angie, I mentioned it. In order for this team to win, Dak Prescott has to be Superman. And everybody know it. Everybody knows Dak Prescott has to be Superman for this team to win. Everybody knows it. And so far, he's been Superman. But the problem is with the Cowboys, they either drop the ball, Philadelphia Eagle game, the defense either gives up a long drive, Chicago Bears game, or Dak Prescott don't get the ball back. Carolina Panthers get the ball with 6 minutes and something on the clock, and Dak Prescott don't even get the ball back. Can't be Superman like that. Can't play defense. Shoot, Colin Cowherd, I'm gonna show y'all something Colin Cowherd said later on. Colin Cowherd said Dak Prescott's on fire. He said, too bad he can't play linebacker. This is Colin Cowherd saying this. He said, too bad Dak Prescott can't play linebacker. And then he said, maybe he should. Because the Cowboys defense is awful. And that's why throughout this interview, stuff that Brian Schottenheimer is saying is triggering me. I just don't understand. Bro, you can't be talking like this, man. I hope he's talking differently behind closed doors. Because this kind of talk right here, bro, I can't get with it. I can't get with it. I can't get with every game is the same. I can't get with that. I can't. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to put even more emphasis on trap games. I'm going to put more emphasis on trap games. You don't have to really, because see, the Washington Commanders, that's a division rival. The Cowboys are going to get up for the Commanders. That's why I'm telling you, the Cowboys going to tick everybody off because they're going to go and mollywop. I won't be surprised if they mollywop the Commanders. They can get up for that game. It's a rival game. People just kind of get up. The game that he got to motivate them for. It's those non-rivalry games. It's those games that they're supposed to win. You got to get them up for those, Brian. You got to tell them, no, this game is big. We have to beat the Carolina Panthers. We have to beat the Carolina Panthers. Not just because of what Rico Dowdle said, but because the New York Football Giants gave us a favor. They beat the Philadelphia Eagles. It gets us one more game, a half a game closer to our goal. Come on, man. Come on. You can't talk like this. And when I hear Brian talking like this, so matter-of-factly, it makes me start leaning back toward where I was from the get-go of the season. The Cowboys are not going to try to make a run until 2026. Because if the Cowboys keep Matt Eberflus and the Cowboys keep doing some of the things they're doing personnel-wise, I can't come to the conclusion they want to win the Super Bowl this year. I can't. It looks like one big evaluation. We're in game 6 and the Cowboys, Michael Irvin said it, he don't even know what their identity is. Dak Prescott, and I'm going to tell you, I know what their identity is. Their identity is that they are an offensive team. Their identity, that's it. Their identity. Let's make it even plainer. The Dallas Cowboys' identity is Rain Dakota Prescott. If there has ever been a year that this team only goes as far as Dak takes us, 2025. 2025. This team only goes as far as Dak Prescott takes us. And that's why when Dak Prescott don't score, when they don't score on the last drive of the game against the Carolina Panthers, because we know that the defense can't get a stop, then if Dak Prescott don't score on that last drive, then we only go as far as Dak takes us. And that's as far as Dak took us. The Cowboys are literally putting everything on the shoulders of Dak Prescott. Every single thing. So if the Cowboys don't get the ball last, with the game within a score, if they don't get the ball last, they have no shot. They absolutely have no shot. None. This is the 2025 Dallas Cowboys. And I am in full reality. This is why I am still going to enjoy this season. I'm in full reality. I know what this is. I know what this is. I'm not believing for a second that at this point, the Cowboys need so much help defensively. I'm not believing for a second that they're going to turn this thing around defensively. The Cowboys make the playoffs, it will be because of Rain Dakota Prescott throwing to George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. That's how they're getting to the playoffs. I'm just telling y'all, prepare yourself mentally. Prepare yourself mentally so you can enjoy these games every single week. Don't expect nothing from this defense. And whatever they give you, you just count it all joy. Don't you expect nothing from this defense. Don't let nothing Brian Schottenheimer tell you. Don't let nothing Matt Eberflus tell you. And don't let nothing that Jerry Jones tell you. And don't let nothing that Stephen Jones tell you. Jerry and Stephen Jones tell you. Don't let any of them tell you anything different. Even if they do, don't believe them. Don't believe nothing they say about this defense. It's the only way you're going to enjoy this season. It's the only way. Because every time they tell you something about this defense, the only thing it's going to do is tick you off. Because I have listened to Brian Schottenheimer for 5 weeks straight, and now it's 6 weeks straight. I have listened to Brian Schottenheimer give me some of the greatest answers I've ever heard as it pertains to the whys, the whys, the whys, the whys. But I have seen but only 2 quarters of a solution. 2 quarters. That's all I've seen. 2 quarters of a solution. So I'm not gonna believe anything as it pertains to this defense. I'm not going to believe it. The only way I'll believe anything they say about this defense is that I will have to see the changes. Because they said we were going to get the changes. And the changes, the problem seems to be the same. This defense don't like the scheme. And I don't think they've bought into the defensive coordinator. I just don't think he has their respect. Stargarding next, he said, gee, you think it will get better next season? Yes. I think it will get better next season. Because I think what they're going to do is that they're actually going to go out and they're going to spend all of those draft picks on, they're going to spend those draft picks on defense. They're going to spend those draft picks on defense. I won't be surprised if they go next year and get a couple of really good defensive players. But this year, it seemed like to me they're content with tinkering and evaluating. And they, to me, I think it is fool's gold to think that Demarion Overshown is going to come back and Savon Revel Jr. is going to come back and Kalen Carson and Josh Butler, that these 4 players are going to come back and they're going to make that kind of difference? Come on, man. I'm not going to be fooled by this no more. I'm going to accept what it is. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to accept the reality of the Dallas Cowboys. That their identity is Rayne Dakota Prescott. And we're only going as far as he takes us. Not because he's bad, but because he's great. Because he's playing with an all-time terrible defense. An all-time terrible defense. So the only thing we can rely on is every single week, Dak Prescott got to show up. Y'all think it's bad now? Just wait till the first week he don't show up. Which, at the rate he's going, I don't think we're going to get that week. But if there's a week that Dak don't show up, shoot, you think it's bad now? Wait until you hear the haters then. Let's listen to Brian Schottenheimer.
So up and down this year. How do you try to make sure this doesn't get out of control here and and this season goes where you don't want it to go?
Yeah, well, certainly we focus in the moment, and again, the consistency or inconsistency is real, and I think that it goes back to practice. We want to have good days of practice. We want to focus on the fundamentals. I think that's one of the things that when you're a little bit inconsistent, it's not always scheme.
I can't. It's Overreaction Monday. I can't. In the words of Deion Sanders, this is bull junk. Brian Schottenheimer has to know what he's saying is bull junk. It's week 6, Brian. Are y'all listening to what Brian Schottenheimer is doing? Brian Schottenheimer is doing the very thing that made the Chicago Bears' entire organization turn their back on Matt Eberflus. The Chicago Bears got sick of Matt Eberflus every single week, walking in talking about players' execution, players' problems, players' problems. They got sick and tired of it. To the point that the organization fired him. Brian Schottenheimer is making every excuse of why it's not Matt Eberflus. Roll this back again.
Again, the consistency or inconsistency is real, and I think that it goes back to practice.
I'm tired of hearing practice. I'm tired of practice. I don't know about y'all. I'm tired of practice. I'm tired of practice. I don't want to hear no more practice. Tell us how you practiced last week, Brian. Tell us. I hadn't heard the interview, all of it. I hope he tells us then. Tell us, Brian, how did you practice last week? Tell us. Because the way y'all got y'all butt whooped out there, y'all didn't practice last week. And I don't want to hear every time you get your butt whooped that you had a bad practice. Come on, Brian. Come on, man. We gotta be honest. Practice? It goes back to practice? Okay. So why is it not affecting the offense? Help me out, y'all. Y'all help me out. Why is practice affecting the defense, but practice isn't affecting? Practice is affecting the defense, but can y'all tell me why it's not affecting the offense? Y'all help me out. Why is the practice hurting the defense so bad? Boy, the offense must be out there practicing their butt off. Well, the offense, if what Brian is telling me is that the offense is executing on all cylinders in practice, y'all. But the defense. They practicing bad, y'all. Brian, boy. This is how Matt Eberflus lost the Chicago Bears locker room. They turned their back on him. And I'm telling y'all this right now. The defense, I said it yesterday, and I'm going to tell you again. The defense is getting tired of getting blamed for getting their socks burned off because of bad scheme. He's saying it's not the scheme. The players are telling him, they're screaming, it's the scheme, bro. It's not practice, man. Brian, I'm not listening to you on practice no more. I'm not listening to you on practice, bro. Some of this stuff is getting old. It's getting old. It's getting old. Practice? Boy, we got to stop this. No, Brian. Even if the practice is bad, have you ever thought the scheme is bad? I told y'all before about this Matt Eberflus defense. It requires super studs all over the field. And I'm not buying it no more. I'm not buying the Cowboys. I'm not buying the Cowboys players are this bad. I'm not buying it. I've seen Deron Bland before. I've seen, and I know Trayvon Diggs ain't playing the best, but I've seen some of these players before, and doggone it, they ain't this bad. No, not this bad, man. And we keep talking about practice. Brian, you got to stop this, bro. Bruce 3613, he says soft coaches equal soft team. Bruce, let me tell you one of the problems. I mentioned this the other day. I don't think Matt Eberflus matches Brian Schottenheimer. I don't think they match. I think Clayton Adams and Brian Schottenheimer match. Matt Eberflus, I don't think they match. I don't think he's the kind of defensive coordinator that Brian Schottenheimer needs. Brian Schottenheimer needs the kind of DC that Dan Quinn was for Mike McCarthy, because Mike McCarthy was so boring and stale as toast. He needed a defensive coordinator that was very energetic. Enter in Dan Quinn. Enter in Dan Quinn. I don't think Matt Eberflus matches. I don't think he matches Brian Schottenheimer. And that's why I asked the question at the end. My last question is, who hired Matt Eberflus? Now, if you don't know what my answer is now, you're going to figure it out as we keep going. But Brian is doing something that's dangerous. Brian, these players are going to get tired of you talking about, these players are going to get tired of you saying they're not executing. This defense going to get tired of being the fall guy. They're going to get tired of people saying how bad they are. Trayvon Diggs, if y'all think what Trayvon Diggs is saying is a Trayvon Diggs thing only, that ain't a Trayvon Diggs thing only. That's the players on that defense saying the same stuff. Keep on playing. This can only go so far. If this defense don't improve by game 10 or 11, I'm telling you, it's going to be a mutiny. You can't keep telling us that we're not seeing what we're seeing, Brian. Bro, I don't want to hear nothing about no practice. I don't want to hear nothing about no fundamentals. I don't want to hear this stuff, bro. These are not rookies we're playing. If we were talking about a team full of rookies, I could deal with it. Bro, we ain't talking about no team full of rookies. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. And Brian got to understand, he's going to have to figure this out. Bro, these players ain't buying this. Edward Frazier, Shotty play calling blew this game. Now, hey, Edward Frazier, I'm not going to argue with you. Because I'm going to tell you now, Brian Schottenheimer has already made an excuse. Now, I think we saw this in the Green Bay game, too. They got down to, the 1 yard line? What did he do? He got cute. Bro, run the ball 3 times in a row. We don't need you trying to throw the ball and get all fancy down there on the goal line. Punch this ball in and beat the Green Bay Packers. Nope, got cute. What did he do yesterday? Got cute. Obviously assume with a defense that is just terrible. You assumed you were going to get the ball back. So was Brian absent in the Chicago Bears game? When all of us watched the Chicago Bears drive the ball down the Cowboys' throat and held the ball 19 plays, 10 minutes. So the way Rico Dowdle was running the ball, you didn't think Rico Dowdle and that offense was going to be able to hold the ball for at least 5 minutes? Come on, Brian. Come on, Brian. You got to do better. You got to do better, Brian. You can't keep saying this stuff, man. You can't keep saying this stuff. This is going to, before we know it, we're going to be calling this Mike McCarthy all over again. You can't keep saying stuff, Brian, that we're seeing that don't match what you're saying. But I can tell you this, the cover up for Matt Eberflus is real, y'all.
You know, we want to have good days of practice. We want to focus on the fundamentals. I
Tired
think
of
that's
practice.
one of the things that when you're a little bit inconsistent, it's not always scheme. The schemes weren't perfect yesterday. I can assure you of that in all 3 phases.
You see what he keeps doing? Y'all see what Brian keeps doing, right? Let's continue to protect Matt Eberflus. So rather than us saying the defense is bad, and not just players, but scheme too, rather than us saying that the defense is bad, we're going to say the whole team was bad. Yeah, whole team was bad because special teams, the special teams, they didn't return a punt for a touchdown and they didn't return a kickoff for a touchdown. Yeah, the offense is bad because the offense scored 27 points, but on the opening drive they went 3 and out, and then on the last drive they went backwards and went 3 and out. So it's the offense's fault that the offense didn't score a touchdown every single time they touched the ball. So rather than the offense scoring 42 points, the offense only scored 27 points, and it requires 40 plus points for us to win the game. So if we only score 27, it's not the defense's fault that they gave up 30. It's our fault that we didn't score 42. Huh? This is the 2025 Dallas Cowboys. This is the 2025 Dallas Cowboys. It's crazy work, man. It's crazy work. Tony Nichols, appreciate that super chat. Tony Nichols said, G, you want it. If I coached within the rules, Rico would have been... Say it again, Tony Nichols. He said if I coached within the rules, Rico would have been on IR or at least out the next week or 2. Shoot. Tony Nichols, let me tell you something, bro. Now, I don't believe in cheating. I don't believe in doing evil. But I tell you this. You want to talk about playing to the whistle? Shoot. I'm playing to the whistle on Rico Dowdle. I'm playing to the whistle on that joker. I'm telling the whole team, Tony Nichols, they're going to beat me on play action today. I promise you, the Carolina Panthers would have beat me on play action because every time they even would have faked the ball to Rico Dowdle, shoot, everybody hit him. I want everybody to converge on Rico Dowdle because I'm going to tell you this. I promise you he ain't beating us. Boy, where's the heart, man? Where's the heart? Edward Frazier, Pickens should have had it 200 yards. Now, Edward Frazier. Brian Schottenheimer went away from something that he said, didn't he? Brian Schottenheimer said when there's time to play, when certain situations he don't think plays, he thinks players. So somebody got to tell me the Carolina Panthers didn't have a doggone answer for George Pickens, and on the last drive of the game, you ain't going for George Pickens? Shoo, I'm going 3 times in a row. Y'all do know they had no answer for George Pickens in the grand scheme of things. They had no answer. I'm throwing the ball to George Pickens 3 times in a row until they make me not do it. I'm going to make them make somebody be wide open because I'm going to George Pickens in that situation. I'm telling y'all, man, Brian got to stop this. Brian's got to stop this somewhere. You're going to have to get to a point, Brian. You got to stop blaming. You got to stop blaming the players. You got to stop blaming the players. Because that's exactly what Matt Eberflus does. Matt Eberflus blames players. And that's why the players in Chicago quit on that joker. Let's listen to Brian Schottenheimer. I'm going to pull up the evidence for you.
But, we need to get back to really emphasizing fundamentals and letting these guys go play and play with confidence and have the ability to win their matchups with their fundamentals.
Until DLLS Cowboys, when you have so many holes, I guess, in the running game and the passing game, was it hero ball? Because you say the guys understand the scheme and they know what they're supposed to do. Were they doing too much hero ball? Or how
define hero ball for me. Trying to make plays, guys trying to make plays
and not follow their keys.
Yeah, I think you did see guys pressing. It goes back to the thing that I say, Clarence, in terms of hey, don't press, just go play. And I think anytime you're giving up big plays and you can't stop the run and you're struggling to do that, guys are going to try to shoot gaps and do things like that. And the one thing about defense is, if one guy is out of position or one guy's supposed to be in the A gap and he's in the B gap, that creates running lanes. And so I don't think hero ball's it, but I do think that there's times where guys press and they're trying to make plays. And why? Because they want to win and they want to try to help things turn around. And that's not usually a good recipe, though.
Stephen Jones said on the radio today that you guys may make some changes and do things that either the players want to do or fit them best, and kind of match that with what Eberflus's scheme wants you guys to do. Can you talk about what that may look like?
Yeah, we started early this morning, as you can imagine, and with the defensive staff, and just looking at all types of different things, and we watched the film a little bit different than we did. We didn't just kind of watch the game. Usually, you watch the game sequentially. It was a little different. We wanted to watch kind of all the first, second down runs and then all the first, second down passes. Why? Well, there's breakdowns, and we need to figure out what those breakdowns are. And sometimes when you're jumping from first, second to third down to red zone to 2 minute to things like that, you can't pinpoint some of the solutions. And we've got a board filled of ideas and things that we really think will help. This is a system that, from a multiple standpoint, we can play man-to-man. We do play man-to-man. We play fire zones that are matchy, which means man-to-man. But we're not really doing anything from a consistency standpoint that's great. Like when we fix the one issue in the passing game, then the run game, pops back up. So that's why I go back to, yes, we're looking at everything, and we're going to make changes and make adjustments, and certainly not going to share those with you guys. But I want to go back to the fact of the other thing we need to do as coaches is emphasize fundamentals and hand placements and fit.
Y'all hear what he did? He went right back to blaming the players. When you're talking about fundamentals, you're talking about the players aren't executing fundamentals. Now, somebody's got to understand, though, that when you have players in a system and you're trying to put a square in a circle, these players are doing way too much thinking to even focus on fundamentals. These players are doing way too much thinking to be focused on fundamentals. Your fundamentals fall apart when you don't know what you're doing. This is what's happening to the Cowboys. And I don't know, is it the fact the players are, they can't comprehend? Is the system too complicated? Which I didn't think, the way they were explaining Matt Eberflus's system, it wasn't supposed to be complicated. But it seems to be complicated because these players either won't buy in or they don't like it or whatever the case may be. But Brian Schottenheimer, if you'll notice what he's doing, and I think it's dangerous, he keeps blaming the players, but he won't call out Matt Eberflus. He won't just say the defense has been pretty bad. He'll say it, but quickly, and then quickly say, but everybody was bad. No, Brian, we're not letting you get away with this. You can't do it, Brian. Maybe his players feel differently, but this is how Matt Eberflus lost the locker room in Chicago.
And how you take on a combination block with your near arm and your near foot, and how you shoot the gap to create separation so that your buddy can come off and make a play. Those little finite details are the things that we're not doing from a consistent standpoint, which is why we struggled yesterday.
You do that in minicamp, you do that in training camp. You have enough time in the season to hone in those things like that?
Yeah, you do. And it's our job as coaches and my job as head coach to adjust the practice schedule. And if we need more individual time, then something's got to get cut. And is that individual that gets moved here? So, or you add a piece here and you do a little less of a team period, or you take a little bit from a water break, but you find the answers. Our job is to find solutions. And that's what this staff is committed to doing. And whether we win or we lose, we're always looking for solutions. And that was the other message I said to the guys is, we have to be solution-oriented. And that's coach to coach, coach to player, player to player. And that's how you win in this league.
Brian, Todd Archer with ESPN. Are those solutions in-house? Do you have enough to find those solutions on the field?
Yeah, I think so. I really do. I think, we're going to continue to make these guys compete for playing time. We're not blaming. I'm not putting blame on any player that maybe doesn't start this week or doesn't. We as the coaching staff have to be better. We know that in all three phases. But if you believe in the mantra of compete every day, the best players need to play, and we need to continue to focus.
This is the worst thing that I hear this is the worst thing I hear Brian Schottenheimer say. It's the worst thing I hear him say. Because week to week he says this, and I don't believe week to week on the defense the best players play. I don't believe it. I don't believe week to week the best players play. This is one of the reasons why. And we're going to sit up here and I'm telling you, people are killing Jaden Blue. Jaden Blue had 4 carries against the Jets, 3 carries against the Panthers. Nothing truly designed to fit him. But just the fact that so somebody can say, hey, man, we let Jaden Blue run, and look what he did. So we're going to justify not letting him run the ball and running Javonte Williams in the ground. This is what the Cowboys are doing. They are not putting in the time for Jaden Blue to be successful. Don't put this kid in for 3 or 4 plays. Give him 2 or 3 series. Hey, this is your series. This entire series is designed around your skill set. We've been hearing all this practice stuff, all this fundamental stuff, and we've been hearing this best players play. It don't seem to be happening. Is Donovan Wilson that much better than Marquise Bell? Wanye Thomas wouldn't be out there unless there was an injury to Malik Hooker. Shamar James wouldn't be out there unless there was something going on with Sanborn. I mean, what's really the deal? I'm telling you, every time he talks, I'm realizing more and more he keeps going back to the players. He mentions the coaches, but he goes back more to the players. I think this defense may have something more to do with the coaching.
focus on things that we do well. We certainly did not do enough of that at the line of scrimmage yesterday, both phases running the football and stopping the run. But it doesn't mean you don't have the people to do it. It just means you have to look for solutions. And does that mean there's going to be some potential changes that you see us do differently? Yes. Is it going to be something that just jumps off the film and all we do now is play nothing but man-to-man? No, that's not happening. But there will be some changes, and there will be some things that we look at that as we figure out our personnel even more.
What did I say at the beginning? As we figure out our personnel. It's week 7. We're still evaluating. Now, at some point in the season, when do you stop evaluating? Are we going to evaluate all the way up until the bye week and then see what we have to do after the bye week and the trade deadline? I mean, is that what we're doing? We're still evaluating. Katharina Kiss makes a great point. She said, "Gee, I'm tired of Shotty sticking up for Eberflus." This is exactly what he's doing. He's sticking up for Eberflus. Now, Katharina Kiss, I understand that he has to do it to a degree. But you can't keep telling us things that we know that are not true. I don't know how to explain it, Katharina Kiss, but I'm with you on this point. He can't keep telling us, bro, we're watching this stuff, man. You can't tell us anything different. So you're telling us it's because of bad practices, the reason why the defense is bad, but the offense and the special teams are not. So it's your defense practicing bad. They're the ones not using the fundamentals. I'm struggling with this bad on Overreaction Monday. Katharina Kiss said, we won't win crap this season if they don't fire Eberflus. Katharina Kiss. Yes, we are. But I can tell you, Katharina, the only way we're going to do it is simple. We're going to have to score 30 and 35 and 40. Because the only games we have won is when we've scored more than 35 points. It's the only way we win. Because this defense is going to allow every single team to be in the game. Every single team will be in the game. I don't care how bad they are. And the good teams, let me tell y'all something. Shoot, we might have a 50-point game on the horizon. We literally may have a 50-point game on the horizon. It is that crucial with the Dallas Cowboys. We may literally have a 42-42, 49-48, 51-49 game like Tony Romo had back in the day, I think, against the Denver Broncos. I mean, it may literally get that crucial at the rate we're going. This defense is bad. And I'm not buying that this is all players. I'm not buying it. I'm not saying that it's not some players, but I'm not buying that this is the players. 2011 Man Beast, what up? He said, "G, I think this isn't about Shotty. Shotty has always been holding the coaches accountable. You're going somewhere where I'm going at the end. This is about Jerry protecting Eberflus. He wouldn't even speak after the game. He's angry and embarrassed. That's why I posed the question, who hired Eberflus? Who hired Eberflus?" Tony Nichols says, "Shotty better jog his memory. Mike made excuses for Nolan and against Kellen. Mike is home and Kellen got a ring. Check yourself, Shotty." But see, Tony Nichols, this is one of these things I talked about before. I said I always felt like it was the offense versus the defense. The defense was a separate entity from the offense, and the coach really didn't have control over the defense. And so I'm starting to wonder about this thing with Matt Eberflus. And actually, I mean, I'm just going to make the assumption. I say, yeah, we talk facts, but I think all the evidence is pointing simply towards something so simple. Jerry Jones hired Matt Eberflus. Jerry Jones hired Matt Eberflus. Jerry Jones hired Matt Eberflus. And this is one of the reasons why. I'm just telling y'all to prepare yourselves. Matt Eberflus probably won't even be let go at the end of the season. Matt Eberflus may be here to stay. And the Joneses may actually just say, we're just going to go get the players that he wants. I'm telling you, they like him. They like Matt Eberflus. That's why they brought him back. They like him. And there is something even more, and I'm not going to call it nefarious. We'll talk about it more as we keep going. Let's let Eberflus go. I mean, let's let Shotty go some more, and then we're going to get a super chat in, and then I'm going to read you something about Matt Eberflus.
That you'll see us maybe move into a direction where you're seeing more of that.
And there's always what ifs during the course of the season and things that have happened. A lot of people say if Micah was here, this defense would be a bit different. Do you think that this defense would be different if Micah was still here?
I don't. I mean, I don't really know. You know, Mike's a great player. We've got other great players, but it takes 11 on defense.
I'm not buying the Michael Parsons stuff. I'm not buying the Michael Parsons stuff. The defense was terrible last year with Zimmer. It was terrible last year with Zimmer up until about Thanksgiving. It was terrible. Go back and look at the first 4 games before Michael Parsons got hurt. The defense was terrible. I'm not buying this Michael Parsons bull crap. People talking about Michael Parsons covered up this and that. No, Dak Prescott has always been covering up a lot of this nonsense. He's always been covering up a lot of this nonsense. Dan Quinn's scheme fit these players. Dan Quinn was able to cover up a lot of the nonsense. I'm not buying this Michael Parsons bull. It's a bunch of bull. Dan Quinn had this defense, and it wasn't a great defense, but Dan Quinn, the one thing he had him doing was getting to the ball, creating turnovers, and sacking the quarterback. They couldn't stop the run to save their life. But because the offense was putting up 30 and 40 burgers on teams, they would get the lead on teams, and Dan Quinn's teams were made to play with a lead. I'm not buying this bull junk with Michael Parsons. Everybody keep going back to Michael. It ain't about Michael Parsons. The defense would have been atrocious with Michael Parsons. Period. End of story. Michael Parsons is on a top-tier defense with the Green Bay Packers, and we don't even know what effect he's had on the Green Bay Packers defense yet because he didn't look that great. And I'm not going to say he didn't look that great against us, but I'll tell you this, Dak Prescott destroyed him. Michael Irvin talked about it, destroyed him. Stepping up, sidestepping, even taking a few hits from Michael Parsons, destroying and making completions. Where was he in the run game? Stop it. This ain't a Michael Parsons thing. This is 3 coordinators in 3 years. And Matt Eberflus may have one of the worst schemes of all of them. Matt Eberflus may absolutely have one of the worst schemes of all 3 of the coaches.
And again, that is the thing that, again, 9, 10 guys on a football team, offense, defense, special teams, if one of those is a little off with their assignment, a little off with their alignment, then plays happen. And so I think it's more about the guys that are here continue to impress on them the importance of doing their job and doing it correctly and with the right fundamental and technique. And that's really what we're focused on.
John Machota with The Athletic, specifically with the linebacker.
Now, just keep listening. Have you noticed what Brian keeps doing? Everything keeps going back to the players. I want you to keep that in your mind. Everything keeps going back to the players. And let's keep it real. Katharina Kiss has already mentioned this. Let's keep it real. He's not talking about anybody but the defense, but he's using the blanket statement of the whole team so that he can protect Matt Eberflus. But just keep noticing what he's doing. He keeps going back to the execution of the team. Let's listen to a little bit more. We're going to read some super chats, and then I'm going to show you this article that I showed y'all before about Matt Eberflus.
Play. What do you see from that group that makes you think that you can get better play there and that they will have the answers as the season goes on?
Yeah, well, I think, I would start with this. Number one, you go to Shamar. Shamar is a guy that we see the traits, we see the ability to dissect and make plays and shoot gaps, and very, very physical. K9 playing a different position last week. That was different for him. Being the guy making all the calls and the green dot and all that stuff with Jack being out. That affects things. Maris comes in the game, and we bring him on an edge pressure, and he gets the only sack of the day. And we're going to continue to play some base, but also.
Wait. But isn't it strange? Why does Matt Eberflus wait until a game gets to a crucial moment before he starts sending pressure? Y'all do realize he's done this in like all the losses. Did it in the New York Giants game. Waited until the game got to a crucial moment before he starts manufacturing pressure. Let me tell y'all something, and anybody who knows even an inkling about football knows this. If you can't get pressure with 4, bring 5. If you can't get pressure with 5, bring 6. It's simple. Bro, you got to manufacture the pressure, and you got to manufacture it sporadically. You got to pick and choose at different points during the game. We're blitzing right here. We're either run blitzing or we're pass blitzing, but we're blitzing today. Matt Eberflus refuses to blitz. Matt Eberflus refuses to do a lot of man-to-man. Matt Eberflus refuses to make a whole bunch of adjustments. And Brian keeps making excuses.
So you'll see us play nickel some, and you'll see us play different versions of nickel. And, again, we want to get everybody involved. That's part of the deal. We want to have different packages. And quite honestly, I think, some of the things that we can do from playing nickel different ways is what's important. That's kind of what Carolina did to us yesterday. They made us work, and give them credit. They were in 3-4, and then they were in nickel, and then they were in dime, and then they were playing 5-1. And that gave us some problems from a communication standpoint. But
yeah, it gave you problems, and Dak Prescott still put up 27 points on him. Brian, you can't sell us this, bro. And the only reason why you only got 27 is that you got cute at the end with those you got cute at the end with a screenplay that got sniffed out, and then they put you in a 3rd and long situation and sniffed you out and made you check it down. Nah, Brian. Your quarterback sliced and diced. I don't care what they threw at your quarterback. Your quarterback and George Pickens sliced and diced almost everything the Carolina Panthers threw at him. Now, if that, and I'm not even buying it gave Dak Prescott a whole lot of problems. But if it gave Dak Prescott any kind of problems, imagine what it would have done for Bryce Young, had y'all just started out the game. First drive of the game, Bryce, we're going to let you know we're going to blitz you all day long. We're blitzing you all day long, Bryce. We're blitzing you all day long, Rico. How about we would have done that from the beginning? I'm telling us. Sub-Zero says, appreciate that $5 super chat, man. JG for real got me rolling up in here. Let me read Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero said, having the defense play this bad is not fair to the offense and is sabotaging Dak Prescott in the worst way. I agree. Worst way possible. Hire Rex and show that you carry it all, Jerry. They're not going to do it. At least I don't think they're going to do it. JG Real. Appreciate that $20 super chat. JG Real said currently booking a flight to Charlotte to go fight Rico down. He said, I'm still not over. He said someone has to defend our runner because the defense can't. He said, I'm going to scoop up all Sanchez on the way. And see if he feel like fighting again. Shoot. Boy, let me tell you something. Man, Rico Dowdle would have had me fighting yesterday. Shoot, Rico would have had me fighting. I'm just keeping it real with y'all. Man, Rico Dowdle would have had me fighting yesterday. Shoot, Rico Dowdle would have had me hot after what? Boy, they had me hot. So let me read for y'all. As we've listened to Brian Schottenheimer literally defend. He's been defending Matt Eberflus the entire time because there's nothing really to talk about. Matt Eberflus all these questions are based around the defense and Matt Eberflus. And they keep blaming the players. Fundamentals, practice, execution. Keep blaming the players. When you go back and read this article, about Matt Eberflus, let me show you what happened to Matt Eberflus. Why they had to let Eberflus go. It says right here, it was Eberflus's decision to not call a timeout that had players fuming after the game. Guys were furious, a staff member told Johns. It was an accumulation of this season. They basically got tired of Matt Eberflus making bad decisions. It says, but this was far from the first error Eberflus had made that has resulted in a loss. Heck, it's the third during the 6-game losing streak alone. 6-game losing streak. Look at this. We felt as players, it's been too many instances where we fought our way back in the games to lose because of bad time management and decision making, one player told Johns. Y'all do know it's going to get old with this offense, right? Y'all do know it's going to get old with this offense. That every time this offense puts up 27 points, this offense puts up 34 points, this offense puts up 37 points, and then they lose the game, and then Brian Schottenheimer is going to step in front of a podium, or Matt Eberflus is going to step in front of a podium and say it was the players not executing, it was the players with fundamentals, it was a bad practice this week. Y'all do know this is going to get old. Especially as the Cowboys, if they don't turn it around and then they find themselves falling out of a playoff race. Y'all do know the players are going to get tired of this, right? The players are going to get tired of this. And then you're going to get more people saying stuff because Trayvon Diggs is already talking. And if Trayvon Diggs is talking, that's telling me he ain't the only one talking. More players are going to start talking. It said, according to Johns, tensions were so high that Eberflus had to leave the locker room after addressing the team. Y'all don't think the defense is looking at Eberflus crazy already? Do y'all not know that these players, I'm going to give these players credit for this. Do y'all know these players know football? Do y'all know these players know football? They played it all their life. As if these players don't see players running wide open on them on the defense. You don't think they see this? We don't think it's bothering them? I'm going to show you a play yesterday that I'm going to have to repent on, that we literally ate up Kyer Elam on. We ate up Kyer Elam on this play. But I'm going to show you that this actually wasn't Kyer Elam's fault. It wasn't Kyer Elam's fault. It was a combination of Matt Eberflus trying to be cute, using a player who wasn't able to do what he wanted him to do, that caused the Carolina Panthers to get that fourth down. I'm going to show it to you. It's insane when you look at the play. And people destroyed Kyrie Elam for it. I'm telling you, don't think these players don't know football. They're tired of getting burnt and scorched every single week. And you don't think when they turn on the TV, they look at social media, they're looking at content creators, and everybody's saying, the defense is trash. The defense is terrible. The defense, this player, this player, this player. We don't think this defense is getting tired? Because I bet you if I was on this defense, I'd be tired. This defense feels like they're not being put in a situation to win. And people can argue and disagree in anything they want. But this defense is tired. They're tired. I don't think this is just these players' inability to play. Some of this is scheme, and we're going to have to admit it. Some of this is scheme. Look at this. Says here, multiple sources added that the emotions were so high between the players and Eberflus, he left the locker room immediately after his speech and the exchange with the players. The players in Chicago rose up on Matt Eberflus because Matt Eberflus is the one who made a bonehead play, but in him making a bonehead play or a bonehead decision, he justifies it and says that he was right in doing it and that he didn't cost them the game. They got tired of it. They got tired of it. It says there was nothing left to say. It was a moment for this Bears team that would inevitably force Chairman George McCaskey into something the franchise had never done before. They fired this dude mid-season. Y'all ready for this part? Do y'all know we're already at the same point that the Chicago Bears team was in its game 6? If this don't improve by game 10, shoo. Or I'm telling y'all, Brian Schottenheimer, bro, you can tell me about culture all you want to, but this thing is going to come to a head quickly if they don't do something. And I know what they think something is. DeMariano was shown coming. DeMariano ain't fixing this. This is why people who keep talking about Michael Parsons was not fixing this. This isn't a one-player issue. This is a scheme and player issue. Players. We got players that we paid. We got players that we brought in. Some of them are just not performing. But if we know the weaknesses of these players, when do we say we're changing up the scheme to put the players that we have in the best situation to execute? Well, Matt Eberflus refuses to do it. I bet you I could fix this defense in a week. 1 week. I could fix this defense in a week. I could turn the blitz packages up on this defense up to about 35 to 40%. I bet y'all it would fix about 40% of the problems. I bet you we would fix 40% of the problems. Spying the quarterback on this team would fix about 30% of the problems. Man, we getting ready to play the kid over in Washington. And we already know he's a very mobile quarterback, and the run game is a part of his game. If we don't spy him out, it's going to be a long day. A big part of this team's problem is a lack of adjustments. And that falls on Matt Eberflus, and that falls on Brian Schottenheimer. And that's why I'm wondering, does Matt Eberflus answer to Brian Schottenheimer, or does he answer to Jerry Jones? Who does he answer to? Who does he answer to? Because if he answers to Jerry Jones, I'm just telling y'all, you just need to go ahead and prepare yourself so you can enjoy the rest of the doggone season. This defense is going to be like this for a minute. Jay Recruiter, he said the offense was not very good. They could not block. And Jay Recruiter, they were not very good, and they still scored 27 points. Now, Jay Recruiter, I'm going to give the defense a break. The defense is playing with not even what? They're missing 2 offensive linemen and CeeDee Lamb and Kevontae Turpin, and they still put up 27 points. Man, I don't think you can ask for anything more, Jay Recruiter. And let's not forget the Carolina Panthers actually do have a very good defensive line. D Block said, gee, the Cowboys don't have the personnel. I think some of it is they don't have the personnel. But also, D Block, then Matt Eberflus has got to call his defense like he don't have the personnel. But then call your defense like you don't have the personnel and stop trying to call your defense like you have the personnel. But I'm telling you this, D Block, the players are getting tired, bro. Same way they did in Chicago. Chicago was on a 6-game losing streak, and Chicago, the players got tired of them always saying that it was the doggone players not performing. Got tired of it. Star Guardian said Dak can say anything he wants, but did anybody see his face on the sideline on the Panthers' last drive? It was like, what more do I have to do? Flus is toxic. He don't fit, Star Guardian. He don't fit Brian Schottenheimer, and it's the honest truth. If anybody is being honest, and that's why my question is, who hired Matt Eberflus? I can't believe that Brian Schottenheimer hired Matt Eberflus. He don't even fit his personality.
Again, this is not a issue of personnel. It's an issue of execution, and we have.
That story right there is going to get old. And I promise you, it's already old. It's already old. That right there is already falling on deaf ears. I promise you, the players in this locker room, they're already tired of execution. They're already tired of practice. They're already tired of this stuff. And I bet they all like I bet they all like Brian Schottenheimer. But the same thing that happened in Chicago is happening again. It's happening again. Yep, it's happening again. These players are going to get tired of this. Poobie D, you already know the answer. Poobie D, you already know the answer. Jerry hired him. That's why Jerry, and I could be totally wrong, but I got a feeling that I'm right. That's the very reason why Jerry didn't do a press conference yesterday. He know he hired him. He know he hired him, and he can't defend it. He can't defend the fact that Rico Dowdle told him to buckle up, and the defensive coordinator didn't come with a plan. I wish I'd have been the head coach. Hey, man, you know Rico called us out, right? What's your plan to stop him? Oh, we're just going to run base defense like we do every week. What? Nah, bro, you got to do better than that. I want to know your plan to stop Rico Dowdle. Telling us. King said it's an issue with personnel. I think it's a combination. Because, King, I'm going to tell you again, well, if you don't have the personnel, then call your doggone defense like you got the personnel. Call the defense like you don't have the personnel. And stop trying to rush 4 and drop 7 when you know you can't do it. If you know you can't get pressure in this game 6, what did Brian just tell us? We sent Maurice Leal-Fowl off the end, and it got us the only sack of the day. Well, why didn't you do that 6 times? Explain it to me. Explain it to me. Explain it to me. That if it got to the quarterback, then why didn't you do it again? Why didn't you do it early? Why didn't you do it often? Matt Eberflus is bullheaded. He's bullheaded. And I'm telling you, he's bullheaded. Danny Dallas Cowboys, let's go. What up? He said, bring in Vic Fangio, head coach of the, he said, bring it over. He said, fire Brian Schottenheimer. You know that ain't happening. Danny, I'm going to give Brian Schottenheimer a break from this perspective. Brian Schottenheimer is a company man. And I told y'all this weeks ago. The one thing I've learned about Brian Schottenheimer, he's not going to do anything that's going to bring dissension into the house. He will do nothing to bring dissension into the house. And one thing we better go ahead and get ready for now. You are never going to hear Brian Schottenheimer speak against Jerry Jones. You're not going to hear him do it. He is so thankful for the opportunity to be a head coach. You're not going to hear him do it. And this is why you're watching Brian Schottenheimer fall on the sword. I'm giving Brian Schottenheimer the benefit of the doubt. Brian Schottenheimer ain't dumb. Y'all know these players and Brian Schottenheimer ain't dumb. Man, Brian Schottenheimer know this defense. He know this defense. It's not just the defense is awful. It's the scheme. Bro, if your scheme don't fit the players, then your only option is to change the scheme. Unless somebody's told you that you got so much job security that you can just keep implementing your scheme and beating your head against the wall. And if the players don't play good in the scheme, we're willing to take the losses because come off season, we're going to go in the draft and we're going to get players that you want. And we're going to go in free agency and get players that you want. If that's what you're telling us, then that's what we're seeing. But I'm just telling you, Matt Eberflus, I don't dislike him because he seems like he's a very good person. As the Big Rombowski says all the time, he looks like he could definitely help you file your taxes. Looks like he could tell you how to invest. And he looks like he's just an overall good guy, could talk to you about life. But I think he is a coach that needs super studs, guys who are highly motivated, guys who are highly skilled, that they don't need nothing from him but the X's and the O's. That's all they need from him. Because if you have a team that needs motivation, if you have a team that needs someone to push them hard, well, Matt Eberflus ain't your coach. And that's why I say he don't match Brian Schottenheimer. And that's why I keep asking the rhetorical question, who hired Matt Eberflus? Star Guardian X, I was thinking the same thing earlier. That's why I used that thumbnail and I said, talked about control. Star Guardian X, you hit it right on the head. I don't even think Shotty. He says, look at Shotty's face. He doesn't even believe what he's saying right now. I don't think he does either. I don't think Brian Schottenheimer believes nothing that he's saying. But he's saying what he needs to say. Company man, I understand it. I understand what Brian Schottenheimer's doing. I understand it. I understand what he's doing. But it's dangerous. Gerard Griffin, he says, Shotty, you know Eberflus sucks. He knows it. He knows he sucks. Absolutely know he sucks. Brandy said, why is Wilson the captain? He is soft as tissue paper. Let me tell you something, Brandy. Eberflus likes him. Eberflus likes him. Straight up. Straight up, he likes him. Fanon said, so we just going to let the offense off with a pass when the play calling was, nope. Play calling was terrible at the end. Dak getting paid $60 million to go out and win the game at the end with 8 minutes left. Fane, Brian Schottenheimer got cute. He got cute because fame. I'm gonna agree with you to a degree, and I've already agreed with you to a degree. George Pickens is your best player on offense outside of Dak Prescott. I'm not calling plays to anyone else in the clutch but George Pickens. I'm not running no doo-doo screen. I'm not running that dumb stuff. George Pickens is my best player. You're going to stop him. The one thing I believe in is if I'm going to lose, I'm going to lose big. I'm going to lose big. I'm going to get rich or I'm going to die trying. I'm not going to lose doing the least. If you're going to beat me, you're going to beat me doing the most. That's why if it was me, I'm going out with a bang. I don't understand Matt Eberflus's philosophy. Bro, if you getting burned and you not blitzing, well, I'm going to get burned blitzing. I'd rather get burned sending 8 than getting burned rushing 4 and dropping 7. Shoot, I'm getting burned. I'm getting burned going down punching. I bet you that. Somebody gonna be on the ground. Same thing on my offense. George Pickens was unstoppable yesterday. Explain to me why you're not going to George Pickens down there in the clutch. Why are you not doing it? Derek Rose, he said, "Do you answer your own question? The past 6 weeks told you who hired Eberflus. We stuck with Eberflus, like you said a long time ago." Yes, sir. Rhetorical question. Rhetorical question. That's why I posed the question. Because, man, they fired the head coach for Tennessee. How you gonna fire the head coach of Tennessee? They fired the head coach of Tennessee with a rookie quarterback. Done with him. Done with him. But again, Brian Schottenheimer is going to sit up here and he's going to have to keep defending him. Poobie D said, I would have said, yes, sir. Poobie D said, I would have said, Matt, go sit down. I got it from here. Bro, me too, man. Me too. My man Chanel up in here, he said, gee, it's old already. He said they didn't want to play in Eberflus scheme. I also believe, as I told you before, that is one of the reasons Parsons wanted out. Parsons was told by Eberflus, he can't blitz. Chanel, never thought of that point. Maybe that's why Michael Parsons did want out of here. He saw Matt Eberflus' scheme. Figured out he wasn't going to be able to eat in it. It's a great point. It's a great point, and I'm telling you, man, these players, I'm telling you, they're tired of this. They're tired of this mess. This defense, they're tired of it. I guarantee you, they're tired of it. This defense is like, wait a minute, bro. Y'all think this is all us. Some of this is scheme. Some of this is the players we're going to admit, but some of this is scheme too. And I think a part of this is they don't like the scheme. They don't like it. I don't know what to tell you. Your players don't like the scheme, so you're going to force them into the scheme? If you're going to force them into the scheme, you're basically saying next year we're just going to get rid of all of them. Tony, what's going on? Tony Cypher, he says Scotty's giving out some vibes. I think both he and the Joneses are going to make some changes the week leading up to the bye week. If Flus don't get it straight, they planning something. Well, I tell you this, Tony, they gonna break tradition. Firing a coordinator mid-season, as far as I've seen, they haven't done this before or a whole lot. So we'll see.
To coach it better, we have to detail it better, and then the players have to go out there and play.
And then offensively, how do you get the guys on the offensive side of the ball to not feel like they have to do everything, they have to be perfect for you guys to have any chance of winning on Sundays?
Well, listen, I'll start with this. I mean, when the defense got the 3 and out in the fourth quarter and we
See? This is crazy here. Now, I understand what he's doing, but it's bull junk. Because that sounds like John Machota. The defense can't help but think that. Because Dak Prescott told us in his own press conference last night, he's thinking like, I'm not thinking about the defense necessarily getting stops. I'm thinking about why didn't we score on our opening drive? Why didn't we score on the last drive? Why didn't we score touchdowns rather than field goals? Why would you be feeling like that? Well, one reason you're feeling like that is that you want to score a touchdown every time you get the ball. But another reason why you're feeling like that is that you know that if we don't score a touchdown every time we get the ball, it's more and more of a chance of us losing. Brian, this is human nature, bro. There ain't no way that you can stop those players from thinking like that. They're thinking like that. There's no way you can stop them from thinking like that because you have no evidence to show them that there's a reason for them not to think like that. Yeah, you're going to have to score 35-plus points to win games. Period. End of story.
We got the ball at the 46-yard line. I had no doubt in my mind that we were going to go win that football game. And the first play is a screen that, they kind of string it out and they make the tackle. And then, the next 2 calls, they force a check down. And but we had our chances. I mean, hey, if we go 3 for 4 or 4 for 4 in the red zone, which is what we've done.
He don't realize Brian Schottenheimer is actually defeating his own argument. Because he just asked him, how do you get your offense to feel like that they don't have to do everything? Well, Brian Schottenheimer is actually explaining they have to do everything. Do y'all hear what Brian Schottenheimer is saying? Brian Schottenheimer is destroying his own argument by saying that his offense literally has to be perfect. That his offense, I want y'all just to let this sink in. Brian Schottenheimer is telling us that his offense can score 27 points and be still blaming themselves for not winning the game because they have to question why didn't they score a touchdown on every drive. Name me the team that scores a touchdown on every drive. Name me the team. Name me the team that scores a touchdown on every single drive, because every team out there probably touches the ball how many times on offense? 6 or 7 times? Well, if every team out there scores a touchdown on every drive, then why do we not have more 42-42, 45-42, 49-42? Why do we not have more 40-point games? Come on, Brian. He's doing everything he can do to cover up for the defense. You're telling us that the offense can't feel like that, but then telling us that the offense needs to be concerned about scoring a touchdown every single time. We all know that's the goal, but we also know it's not realistic. You're not going to score a touchdown every single time you touch the ball for the rest of this year. You're not going to do it. It's crazy, nasty work. It's crazy, nasty work. And I'm going to show you how ridiculous this is. I'm going to show you how ridiculous this is of what's being said. Let me pull this up. Let me show you how ridiculous this is. So these are the scores from this past week. These are the scores from this past week. The Denver Broncos, 13-11. The Rams, Baltimore Ravens, 17-3. Cowboys, 30-27. Arizona, 27-31 Colts. Seattle, 20-12. Chargers, 29-27 Miami. Pittsburgh, 23-9 over the Cleveland Browns. New England, 25-19 over the New Orleans Saints. Tennessee, Las Vegas Raiders, 20-10. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 30 points. 30-18 over San Francisco. And what I'm just showing you is a very simple theme if you pay attention. Do y'all realize the Dallas Cowboys are actually at the upper echelon of scoring points? Y'all do realize that if you look at these scores, 27 points wins how many of these games? 27 points would have beat the 49ers. 27 points would have beat Tennessee and the Las Vegas Raiders. 27 points would have beat New England. 27 points would have beat New Orleans. 27 points would have beat Cleveland. 27 points probably would have beat Pittsburgh. 27 points beats Miami scored 27. The Chargers scored 29. 27 beats Seattle. 27 beats the Jags. 27. Arizona scored 27. Indianapolis scored 31. Do we not realize what I'm showing us? Brian is being disingenuous. The majority of the teams out there are not scoring like the Cowboys. What? These teams the majority of these teams would be killing for what the Dallas Cowboys offense is scoring. What? They would be killing to get those points. The Cowboys can roll out of bed on a bad day and get 27 points. They got 27 points missing Cooper Beebe, Tyler Booker, Cavonte Turpin, and CeeDee Lamb. Stop it, Brian. It's crazy. Man, you want to talk about avoiding an answer? Yes, the offense, you better believe they're thinking, we're going to have to do everything to win. Brian can't stop him from feeling like that because Brian is being disingenuous. He feels like it too. That's the very reason why his offense scored 27 points. And he's saying we should have did more. That's exactly the question, Brian. Yeah, you're going to have to score 35 points. I'm in reality.
Then we're not even having this conversation. So,
yeah, you're not having the conversation if your offense scores a touchdown every time they get the ball. It's not realistic, Brian. Because no team is doing it. No team is scoring, even with Patrick Mahomes at the peak of his powers. No team is scoring a touchdown every time they touch the ball.
You're not going to find anybody in the offensive room that feels like the defense is letting us down.
It's amazing how Brian is thinking for everybody, right? He's thinking for everybody. Listen to the next statement.
I truly believe that.
So he's thinking for everybody. Bro, I don't care what nobody say. If I'm on this team right now, you couldn't stop me from thinking like this. I might not be telling you. I might not tell you I'm thinking it, but I'm thinking it.
This is a team game, and there's no reason we shouldn't go 4 for 4 in the red zone. We've proven we've gone 3 for 4, 5 for 5, whatever it's been. We've done that. So, we need to focus on doing our job. And
4 for 4 in the red zone. 28 points. 28 points. Not including the stuff that you would score outside of the red zone. I get that you're saying that you want to score a touchdown every time you touch the ball. But if you can't hold the Carolina Panthers, I don't understand how would he get the defense not to think it. The offense not to think it. Because if I'm the offense, I'm thinking that I gotta score a touchdown every time we touch the ball because our defense is not gonna give us a chance to win. Because every time we score, they're gonna score. That's what I'm thinking. Come on, Brian, you gotta stop this, bro.
special teams need to do their job. And
well, why don't the defense need to do their job, Brian? I notice how you're emphasizing the offense need to do their job, special teams need to do their job. Why are you not overemphasizing the part of the or the phase of the game that's letting you down the most? No, the offense do need to be thinking about the fact that the defense needs to hold somebody and get some 3 and outs. Not just one, not just 2.
There's
Crazy
plenty
work.
of things to clean up, not just on the defensive side of the ball.
Nick Harris, 4-star.
Crazy work.
How much of the defensive conversations are part of trying to force takeaways as well? You have a couple corners that have led the league in interceptions in past years. Those guys don't have any quite yet.
Yeah.
How much of the conversation?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think that's a huge deal. Like when you're giving up yards, which we've given up yards, Nick. I mean, we're giving up too many big plays, and you're giving up yards, and whether it's runs that pop for 7 or 8 or passes that go for 10 to 14, whatever it is. The greatest differentiator of that is creating turnovers, and we are +1 in the last 3 games. All 3 games, the offense has not turned it over in 3 games. That's a pretty good streak. Defensively, we've taken away. I almost manifested Dono's. I told.
I want y'all to let this sink in what Brian Schottenheimer said. Brian Schottenheimer said, the Dallas Cowboys have not turned the ball over. Their offense have not turned the ball over in the last 3 games, right? I want y'all to think about how insane of a stat that he just gave us is. He's saying this like it's a plus, but let me tell you how embarrassing it is. Last 3 games. You didn't turn the ball over against the Green Bay Packers. You scored 40 points and you got a tie. Make it make sense. If I told you that a team scored 40 points, had no turnovers, and they only got a tie, what would you be thinking? The defense must be trash. We beat the Jets 37-22. We came back against the Carolina Panthers. Do y'all know we actually won the turnover battle and we still lost the game 30-27? You only got 1 win. And your quarterback is on an insane streak. Your quarterback put up 40, 37, and 27. And you only have 1 win. That is not something to brag about. That's really got me looking at you sideways. That's crazy. That's nasty work.
Last week, I felt like the defense was going to score. And when Dono got the interception, I thought that was going to come true. My opinion with turnovers is you can't force them to happen. You train them in practice. We do ball, disruption drills every day. And they're going to come, and when they come in bunches. But, again, I think
really it's game 6.
Great punch out by Donovan, Azaraku yesterday on the one off of Rico late. They kind of get it back, but you can't chase them because that goes back to, I can't remember how we referred to it as hero ball. But no, you can't chase it. But when they're there, you got to maximize them. And I think they do come in bunches.
Stephen seemed optimistic about Booker, Lamb, Turpin this week. Your thoughts?
Yeah, again, we'll see how they do tomorrow, but I think all those guys, we hope to see them out on the practice field at some point this week, and if we get them out there, then we'll kind of see where they're at from the ability to move around and conditioning and all that, but I would say we're hopeful.
Tommy Arsh, DallasCowboys.com, ran for 180 yards against the Jets without 4 of your starters on the offensive line. When you get 2 back and can't get the run game going, is it frustrating a little bit? And what when you watched it back, did you see just in the run game on offense that wasn't clicking?
Yeah, like I said, there was a lot of penetration. It's a big physical group. They got Ashawn Robinson, they got Derek Brown, and I felt like our combinations and communication weren't great. I thought it wasn't ID issues. The IDs were fine, but we didn't communicate it up and down the line, so there were times that we were targeted and maybe not all working in the same direction.
No, Brian, we're not going to let you get away with this. Brian Schottenheimer has to admit boneheaded play calling. Michael Irvin talked about it. The defensive alignment of the Carolina Panthers told Brian Schottenheimer, you were not going to be able to run between the tackles today. The defensive alignment dictated it. What did he do? Ran the ball like he had the 92 Cowboys offensive line. Ran the ball like Cooper Beebe and Tyler Booker were both out there. Ran right into the teeth of that defense rather than running away from that defense. Rather than putting in a speed player like Jaden Blue who could maybe get on the edges. Nope. Because Brian Schottenheimer wants to have a power run game. No, Brian, you said you're going to be multiple. That means you got to be able to have a power run game, and you got to be able to have a run game that says, well, if you're not going to let us overpower you, then we're going to let you run around. Then we're going to run around you. We're going to run around you. We're going to run on the edges. We're going to get you on the edges. And we're not going to get y'all running. And then when we get you running, we're going to hit you with something with a misdirection, or we're going to hit you with a bootleg to the other side or the opposite side, or where we got that running back running. But Brian Schottenheimer didn't do that. Let's call a spade a spade. Some of this, sometimes Brian Schottenheimer, as much as I like his play calling, sometimes he gets a little too cute. And I'm not going to let this slide. Dak Prescott is making him look good on some of these plays too. A great quarterback will make simple plays look good. Some of this stuff is Dak Prescott dialing in and making tight window throws. I'm telling us. Brian's got to be honest.
But the biggest thing was we didn't give the backs a lot of opportunity to press the hole. Some of it, I think, was schematically our design as a staff. We need to look at that. Next time we're going to play another read and react front here in a couple weeks. And but, that's a defense. I'm going to give them credit. They held Miami to 19 yards rushing. They held us to 31 yards rushing. It's a very, very good front. And that's not our standard. And so, we have to adjust it. And it starts with us as a coaching staff first.
And then with talking about the pressing or hero ball or whatever it would be.
It's a new term. He's going to patent it, hero ball. He's going to patent it. Before I do, I might do it before he does it. Tad, write that down.
Is part of the way to tweak that, maybe fixing the mental side of things, just players having confidence?
Wasn't Santiago? You said Brian Schottenheimer wanted.
When they look at it,
Brian Schottenheimer wanted
something else is going on that would cause
Matt
them to move off
Eberflus.
their
Okay.
side.
Yeah, ask the question again. I just want to make sure I'm understanding what you're asking.
Just if somebody's moving off of their key or something like that is part of the solution to that, and they're doing so because they think something else is occurring to where a bigger play would happen, is some of that just getting right mentally to instill the confidence of you got to trust the scheme, trust what you're seeing.
Yeah, I think our eye discipline has not been to standard. It's not where it needs to be, and we need to look at that, and we need to basically simplify what they're looking at. So if you're a linebacker, you have a triangle that you read. What's the triangle? It's the center, the two guards, and the back. Well, if I'm not seeing the triangle well at times, then you make it a little bit smaller, and you'll go the center and the play side guard, or the center and the backside guard, or the center and the back, because sometimes when you're trying to see a lot, you see a lot, and it takes you out of position. And so us simplifying their eye discipline and their eye gaze is part of the solutions that we're trying to create, because our guys are getting distracted and pulled certain ways in certain fits, and that's why we're late to the fits, and that's why you see our defensive tackles getting displaced at times, because if you don't have a linebacker taking a guy off a double team, the double team's going to hang forever, and you're going to get knocked back.
Garrett Podell, CBS Sports. Brian, a lot of the players have been saying, guys, the communication, that this has led to blown coverages and guys not being in the right spots. How surprising is it to still be dealing with that 6 weeks into the season? Yeah,
it should not be happening at the level. I think, there was a call that, came in a little late the other day, and I had to burn a timeout, and Flus knows that, and he and I have discussed that. And, the changing of personnel makes coordinators work. I try to do it to defensive coordinators all the time. I'll sub personnels in late, knowing that it kind of puts them up against it. But we have to communicate better. And again, are close calls getting made? Yes, they're getting made. Close left, close right. That's how you set the front. But in terms of when people change strengths and things like that, I do feel like it's not being communicated to the standard of a championship defense where guys are all on the same page. And that's problematic, and that starts with us as a staff. Why? You got to ask the question why. Like, we didn't sit in the meetings today and just be like, yeah, we got to do this better. No, it's why. Well, why is that happening? And so you come up with a list of why it's happening. Okay, great. Okay, to the left of that board or to the right of that board, I guess, is a list of, okay, these are the solutions so that doesn't happen anymore. And then you prepare those things, and that's your Wednesday install with the guys, and you start there. And what we have to do, especially on the defensive side of the ball, is adjust and tighten up 10 or 15%. You can't change 100%. We don't need to change 100%. We do good things, but we have to tighten up 10 or 15%, and that's what we're going to do. And it's going to be the 10 or 15% that we think gives us the best chance to win.
Woo! He said only 10 to 15%. Woo! Wow. Well, I want to see this. I want to see this. You telling me this defense is only 10 to 15% away from being that? Shoo, I want to see this. I want to see it. All I'm going to say is I want to see it. Because keep saying it every week. Big Rombowski, he said, Jerry and Steven only believe they can build such a good roster that it doesn't matter who the coach is. This way they get all the credit. Yeah. Oof. Dominique, it's amazing, Dominique, that Brian is almost basically saying, and he defeated his own argument because he knows he basically has to score every time he touches the ball. And I still don't understand DC4L roster, man. He said George Pickens was killing them. Number 2 on the Panthers going to have nightmares about GP. So you get down to the last drive and you telling me that your plays aren't centered around George Pickens. Every play I would have ran would have been centered around George Pickens. Every single play. And I do not understand how do you get to the last how do you get to the last drive and you don't hit and you don't acclimate George Pickens? Makes no sense. Makes no sense. Brandy said Dak didn't even look at Pickens at the end. Those screens need to be deleted out of the playbook. She said, what the hell? Yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you. Brandy, it made no sense. You got a guy they can't stop. Right? We couldn't stop Rico. What they do? We couldn't stop Rico. They kept feeding Rico. Well, they couldn't stop George Pickens. We should have kept feeding George Pickens. Boy, Randall Harris, he said, I'll say it. Shotty not careful. He'll be out of Dallas. He's the fall guy. The 70s Fans Show. And that's the part that don't make sense. Why didn't they blitz him the whole game? Why? Why didn't they blitz him the whole game? Matt Eberflus. Don't make sense. Don't make sense. Big Rombowski. You know what's crazy? I believe that Brian Schottenheimer built the offense. But I believe Jerry Jones, even if Brian Schottenheimer wanted him, I still wonder if Jerry Jones wanted him too. And I'm going to show you the proof of this in just a moment.
The solutions to, on a high level, tighten up the communication thing.
Yeah. Again, it starts with just the conversation in meetings, making guys talk, making guys speak up, making guys share information. It sounds crazy, but if we started something, up here with Clarence and we played the whisper game or whatever, and it kind of got back there to back, it'd be totally different than what he said. It wouldn't be hero ball. It'd be something different. And so guys have to be boisterous. Guys have to have command. Now, guess what? If you're not sure, guys tend to whisper. So we got to make sure our guys are damn sure and that they know exactly what we're doing so they can make the calls loud. And when they're bumping, they're bumping. When they're skying, they're skying. When they're buzzing, when they're clouding, they're clouding. Those are all terms that you use, but they have to say it loud and they have to do it with confidence. And
Brian, practice, fundamentals, execution, and another word I'm tired of with this team, Communication. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. I've never heard this much communication. I've never heard any other team talk this much about communication. And even when they're communicating, it's obvious they're communicating wrong. This team got so, they dumbed it down so extreme that they said that it's going to just be one word communication. Come on, man. Guys been playing football all their life. Because they've been playing football their darn life, man. Some of this stuff, it's just is what it is. They just don't like this doggone scheme. I don't know what else to tell us. I don't know what else to tell us. My man Freddie Morales up in here. Yeah, the doomsday defense died with Landry. Yeah. Seventies fan said, is he ready? Is he reading messages or am I in the twilight zone? Chanel said, part one, to be successful in cover two defense, a team must rely on an athletic and disciplined unit that plays as one. Robert Dudley, that's what I've been alluding to. It will be a mutiny on the bounty on Jerry Jones. I'm telling you, man, this Brian Schottenheimer, man, he gonna realize something. He gonna realize something. They're gonna be calling, I'm telling you, this fan base is only gonna be patient for so long. Shoo. Boy, people gonna be calling for Matt Eberflus' job in the next 3 weeks. Let the Cowboys have a couple of more cataclysmic losses where the offense scores 27 points, 27 plus points. Let this team score 35 points and lose. You watch what I tell you. Shoo, they're gonna go crazy. They're gonna go crazy on this team. Man, Brian Schottenheimer's in danger. He's in the danger zone. They got to do something. And it ain't enough to move a little piece here or move a little piece there. Man, they got to do something. Or this fan base going to go nuts. I think we got the patience for Brian Schottenheimer because I like Brian Schottenheimer. I just don't think this fan base has the patience for Matt Eberflus. And I don't know if some of these players have the patience for Matt Eberflus because I'm telling you, right now, the only thing that's stopping this defense from doing what the Chicago players did to Matt Eberflus is Brian Schottenheimer. It's the only thing that's stopping them. If it was not for Brian Schottenheimer and all this culture talk and how good of a guy he is, they would already be destroying Matt Eberflus. They would already be destroying him. I promise you they would.
If you don't speak with confidence, it's hard sometimes to get everybody feeling confident.
Newey.
You have your phone off? Get your phone off? You sure about that? Promise? Promise? Okay, just making sure. All right, we're good. We're back. We're good.
Your quarterback has played really well in the last 3 weeks. 11 touchdowns, 1 interception here, 800-something yards. Is it frustrating? You feel like maybe you're almost wasting some of these performances because this is high-level stuff you're
Now listen to this. This same question got asked to Stephen Jones. And Stephen Jones, man, let me tell you something. I hadn't heard Brian's answer on it. Boy, Stephen Jones tap danced around this doggone answer like he was Fred Astaire or Sammy Davis Jr. Man, Stephen Jones tap danced around this answer. But man, this is one of the greatest questions that people are asking this current Cowboys team. Man, let me tell y'all something. I don't think nobody knew Dak Prescott was going to play like he playing right now. I think Dak Prescott so far has exceeded all of our expectations. Dak Prescott is balling, and especially without CeeDee Lamb, no Kevontae Turpin, no Cooper Beebe, no Tyler Booker, and Dak Prescott won't slow up. The only thing that has truly stopped Dak Prescott, bad play calling by Brian Schottenheimer, and the defense not getting the ball back in his hand enough in the second half. It's the only thing that has slowed him down. Dak Prescott is on a tear that even Colin Cowherd is talking about how good Dak Prescott is playing. You know that. You know it's something when he's saying it.
For number 4.
He's playing great, and I don't think anybody's surprised by the fact he's playing great. I think when you look at it, our focus is to go out every time and to play well and play at a high level. And again, do we have the victories that we want, based on Dak's performance? No, we don't. But it doesn't change the fact that Dak.
There ain't no way I believe Brian Schottenheimer believe what he's saying. There ain't no way. There is no way. Let me tell you something about the NFL. Not for long. No year is promised in this league. Not one single year is promised in this league. And when you get a quarterback playing like Dak Prescott is playing right now, and you're 2-3-1, let me tell y'all something that's insane about Dak Prescott. Do y'all know that the reality is Dak Prescott has actually only thrown 1 interception? Dak's only thrown 1 interception. I think it was an interception in garbage time against the Bears. There was an interception that George Pickens tipped and just volleyed right into the hand of the defender. That shouldn't have went on Dak Prescott. Do y'all know the other interception on Dak Prescott? The league went back and looked at the replay and the ball hit the ground against the New York Giants. Let that sink in. Nah, man. Dak Prescott, I'm not surprised Dak Prescott is playing great. But I don't think nobody thought Dak Prescott would be playing the way he's playing now. This dude is 3-4 men down, still balling. And y'all notice what Brian doing? Tappity tap, 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 dancing around that. And then says, no, I don't think we're wasting Dak Prescott. Any other team would be saying, we gotta do something about this. You don't get this kind of quarterback play. Man, this kind of quarterback play is not promised. When you got your quarterback playing like this, you got to strike while the iron is hot. I'm going to tell you right now, the Cincinnati Bengals are going to go down in history. The Cincinnati Bengals are going to go down in history as a team that wasted one of the best quarterbacks to ever play, Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is broken up simply because the Cincinnati Bengals won't put an offensive line in front of him, won't put a top-tier defense in front of him, won't build the way they should be building around a quarterback like Joe Burrow. And the Dallas Cowboys are in danger of at Dak Prescott at his peak powers. They're going to probably allow 2025 to be wasted. And then expect Dak Prescott to do the same thing in 2026, which I've already said. I said it before the season. I believe we're about to see the best 3 years of Dak Prescott we've ever seen in our life. I think Dak Prescott will play even better next year, but next year ain't promised. The Cowboys need to be really trying to, if they can, if there's moves they can make this year and make it happen this year, Cowboys should be trying to make it happen this year. Man, Dak Prescott's balling. It's bottom line. Family Fun says Shotty has to make the most of his opportunity. He may be jeopardizing his job by placing too much trust in Eberflus. We need talented coaches too. Appreciate that super chat, Family Fun. I'm going to show you something that's astounding here in just a moment about this whole thing with Brian Schottenheimer and Matt Eberflus. I'm going to show you something astounding.
Needs to continue to do that. And again, he'll be the first one to tell you that, and I'll second my part of it, There were some things in the red zone yesterday that I didn't do very well. There's some things that he felt like he could have done better. And as I always say, it's the ultimate team game. And so Dak's going to be judged just like me on really all these guys on wins and losses. And so stats are great, but at the end of the day, we got to find a way to win.
Man, Brian, you tell me anything you want to. You've been asked 2 questions and you've danced around both of them. That one, I mean, you said with a straight face, you don't think y'all wasting Dak Prescott. Shoo. I know you saying that. I know you couldn't say we're wasting Dak Prescott because that would have been a crazy answer, even though it probably would have been the truth. Shoot, man, Dak Prescott balling. Y'all got to do something. Y'all got to do something, man. Dak Prescott balling. Y'all got to do something. And I don't think they need to do what other people talking about bringing in another running back. Nah, another running back ain't the problem. Another running back ain't the problem. I think you got the running back problem, the issue fixed on your team. Man, between Jaden Blue, Phil Moffitt, and Malik Davis, you're good to go. You're good to go. You just need to not be bullheaded that as teams adjust to the way you're running the ball, Brian Schottenheimer, then look at how they're going to approach you in the game and say, well, we're going to change how we run the doggone ball. That's what you do. Bring in that change up back and say that if that's how you're going to line up, then we're going to run on the edges. And then when you start lining your butt back up to stop us on the edges, then we're going to hit you with Javonte Williams back between the tackles. Come on, man. I've never been a football coach, but this is simple stuff. Come on, man. This team is very poor at in-game adjustments. No, bro, you're not going to dictate to me how I'm going to play my game. If we're going to be multiple, then let's be multiple. We keep talking about multiple, but we won't be multiple. Multiple in the run game is power run game, finesse run game. Power run game, speed run game. Inside run game, outside run game. Sweeps, pitches, anything you name. We're going to be able to do it all. That's what you have to. Don't tell me you're going to be multiple. Show me you're going to be multiple. Because in the run game, you haven't shown me you can be multiple. You haven't shown me you can be multiple in the run game. Show me. I like everything you're telling us, but show us that you can be multiple. Shoo. Too Tall Jones, he said, man, no team in history has scored on all offensive plays like he can sprinkle fairy dust. Shoo. Brian Schottenheimer is defeating his own argument, talking about, yeah, we could have did better in the red zone, or we could have did better. Yeah, you're basically saying that y'all had to score a touchdown every time you touch the ball. It's plausible, not feasible. Not feasible. It's not feasible. Shoo. Jakira said, she said, gee, I'm totally speechless. Hey, Jakira, I didn't hear all this interview, but when I heard some of it today, I said, what? Boy, Brian up here, company man to his heart, and I appreciate what he's doing. I appreciate what he's doing. Because the one thing I don't want him to do is to start causing problems in the house. I don't want Brian Schottenheimer to do that. I understand what he's doing. But shoot, Brian Schottenheimer can't even believe this stuff he's saying. Brian Schottenheimer can't even believe this stuff. Look at the look on his face. I don't even believe Brian believe it. I don't believe Brian believe what he's saying. I don't believe it. But he's being the company man. I understand what he's doing. Chanel, he said the 5 underneath defenders, the 3 linebackers, and 2 cornerbacks are responsible for the short and intermediate zones. Success depends on their athletic ability and discipline. Yes, sir. Man, I got a couple of fun facts. Let's hear the rest of Brian Schottenheimer. I got a couple of fun facts I'm going to pull. I got for you.
You were asked about the 4th down conversion after the game. I just wondered, looking at it a few more times, did you still feel like you all were in what you wanted to be, and the plan being that far away from the line of scrimmage was an okay thing?
Yeah, Duran thought he was a little tighter than he was. You know, they were in a condensed split. They were close enough, so you never want to be double pressed because he can get picked. Duran thought he was a little bit tighter, and we had K9 trying to swipe out to it, but there's little things there that we can tighten up and clean up. But again, that game didn't come down to a 4th down. I mean, there's 6, 7, 8 plays in that game that, ultimately, if we make a few plays, give them credit. They made the plays when they need to, and we didn't, and that's why they came away with the win. And I told the guys, I say it all the time, and I'll say it again. I probably said it last night, but we lost the 4th quarter 10-3. They outscored us 10-3 in the 4th quarter, and we play Washington this week, and I guarantee it's going to come down to the 4th quarter as well, and you got to win.
Nah, bro. It didn't come down to the 4th quarter, Brian, because you said it's about all 4 quarters. No, they beat you 30-27 in 4 quarters. They beat you in 4 quarters, Brian, because y'all let Rico Dowdle run all up and down through y'all. Y'all let him run all up and down through y'all, and then you let him run wide open for a touchdown in the game. That's what happened in the game. Y'all didn't lose that game in the fourth quarter, Brian, because you're defeating your own argument. Y'all didn't lose it in the fourth quarter. Y'all lost the game because you could do nothing to stop the doggone Carolina Panthers. That was the truth. Couldn't stop them. Couldn't stop them when it counted.
You got to win games in the fourth quarter. You got to finish.
You mentioned the screen after you all got the stop. Was that a call you'd like back, or did you still like that?
It didn't work. So I like the call. I do like the call. Maybe the next call I didn't like as much. But it was not a good sequence of plays for us. It really wasn't. And again, you tell me we get the ball at the 46-yard line and whatever was left, 7-8 minutes or whatever's left in the fourth quarter, having moved the ball the way we had, I expect this team and myself to go down there and score every time, not just field goals, really touchdowns.
Joe.
Joe Hoy, Dallas Morning News. I know you talked last week about being a head coach and allowing people to kind of coach in their rooms, especially on defense, without you having to go in there all the time. But when you're going into a week like this looking for solutions, do you plan to maybe spend more time in defensive coaching rooms this week?
I spend more time in all the rooms than you would think. I met, at length with the defense this morning. That's not because I'm panicked. That's because I know that I can offer solutions. And, okay, well, what's Carolina thinking? Well, why are they doing this? Why are they maybe running those type of plays? And here's how I would attack you and things like that. It's not to question. It's to educate them from an offensive standpoint. To make sure we're on the same page, to ask the question why, okay, like we talked about earlier, why, that's part of your job as the head coach. Well, why is that the right call, or why is that technique being used, or why is this guy in that spot? That's your job. And again, I think that the one thing I love about Matt Eberflus is he welcomes it, and he, look, I've been Matt. I've been a coordinator, man, and I've been where people are calling you out and saying you don't know how to coach, and man, this guy's the worst coach in history. Matt Eberflus is a damn good football coach, and we have to perform better. But I've been him, and so part of me being in there is to help as an asset, to tell him I believe in him, I understand what he's going through, and it sucks, it's no fun, and we're gonna ride this thing out, and again, we'll play better. We really will.
Patrick.
Hey, Coach Patrick Walker, DallasCowboys.com. The phrase help being on the way, there are levels for that as far as who's nearing returning. Book, Turp, CD, they got good shots this week. Stephen said to 105.3 The Fan this morning that there's a shot Mingo and Carson, they're activated. But when you look at guys, you guys lost the battle in the trenches on both sides, as you well admit. Cooper Beebe, Perry and Winfrey, where are those guys in their possible recovery?
Yeah, again, I think all of them are trending up. The few that you mentioned earlier, I think the CDs and the Bookers and Terps and guys like that are a little bit ahead. We've still got till next Wednesday for Mingo and Kalen. But I do think that, the other guys you referenced to, they're doing well. They're getting closer. And, that's all part of the process and the whole roster management. And quite honestly, we came out of this game pretty healthy, is what it looks like. And sometimes, you never wish for it, but sometimes those things have to happen because of injuries. But, thankfully we came out of a game that, we weren't very physical, and we came out of it pretty healthy, and that should help us this week.
And going back to your linebacker core, a lot of youth there, obviously, especially with Jack Sanborn out with the concussion. Just talk about Shamar James. Obviously, 2 games in, he's leading the team in tackles over the course of those 2 games. Some mistakes being made, obviously, the rookie learning curve. What improvement do you need to see from him? But also, contrarily, what are some of the positives that, kind of lend to the potential that he has at this level?
Yeah, the positives jump off the film. You guys see the positives. You just mentioned half of them. And this guy dissects plays so fast. This guy's ability to dissect and shoot gaps and make plays and be where he's supposed to be and get guys on the ground. The number one job of a linebacker is to tackle and get people on the ground, and he's excellent at that. He plays with, and it jumped off the film at Florida too. That's one of the things that we loved about him, was the ability to dissect and use his hands. And he's actually a really good blitzer as well. He's good. He's good at the line of scrimmage. I would say some of the alignments and he's seen formations he hasn't seen. Think about college, right? I mean, most people in college, they're running tempo, and they're in either 4 wides or 2x2, 3x1, and they're going fast. And so he's not getting the jet sweeps and all the things that change. Okay, the thing we were talking about with eye gaze and eye discipline, and it's going from 1x3 to 2x2 back to 2x2 back to 3x1, and there's all these calls that have to come. It's the little things, it's the details. But in terms of the instincts and the football player, the game comes very, very natural to him, and he has an extremely bright future.
Last question for you. Keep it to the linebackers, those young guys. Maris, he had the sack for you guys yesterday, but when you go back and you look at a play, I believe it was around a minute left in the third quarter, Rico goes up the middle and Maris makes the tackle, and he's an inch or two away from punching that ball free. Are those the types of things you look at when you're looking at film and saying, oh, we were right there, we just got to keep doing what we're doing, and kind of like chopping wood in that regard?
Yeah, it's the intentionality of trying to create turnovers. We know, I mean, again, when you win the turnover battle, I don't know the numbers, but when you win the turnover battle 1-0, which we did yesterday, you generally have a good chance to win. Well, we did have a chance to win, but we weren't, very good running the football or stopping the run. But the intentionality of that punch, I mean, he's the guy that got the knockout against the Jets. I mean, he's a very, very strong physical player. This is not something he's just learned here. It's something that he did, innately at Notre Dame. And, I think that violence that he brings is what you like about him. And there's things that we can do with him, and you'll see some adjustments that we probably use him a little bit differently because of that.
Overshown window start this week. Is there any hope there?
In the next week or two, I would think. So all signs are pointing to the next week or so, and I know he's gotten some very, very good reviews, and so I think we're getting really close.
And then obviously you have the bye that factors in when I assume you're not going to be practicing or doing very much. How does that impact when you start?
Again, I mean, we take all of it in consideration. Hell, I can't even think when the bye is. You live in the moment up here, but all those things come into factor, in terms of, because we do have some tight, we have 3 games in 12 days and
What's
then
up,
3 in
Xavier?
11 days or something like that. So the practices at that point become a little bit limited. So that all those things we factor into the decision-making process.
When we talk about communication, do you feel like your defensive players are believing in the calls because there's a reluctance? Do you almost have to?
Okay, Terry, we'll look at Wanya Thomas's interview.
I think I have no problem with them being like, our confidence right now is a little bit, of concern. Why? Well, we're not playing great, and so when you're not playing great, and they're all welcome to their opinions. I mean, I listen to players all the time, and do I think that us playing nothing but man-to-man is the answer? No, I don't. Us playing nothing but zone, is that the answer? No.
Robert Dudley, you hit it right on the head.
Us
Professor
fitting
politician.
gaps right, and us executing what the call is. But I think it goes back to, I don't think the lack of communication is lack of confidence in the call. I think it's lack of getting it out and oh shoot, this just changed really fast from this to that. And so those are things that we have to do in walkthroughs. Those are things we have to do in barrel drills with the linebackers and safeties. They're the biggest part of it. It's been a little bit of a lot of moving parts going around with the safeties, with Hook being out, and now Ye's doing some really good things for us. And I thought Falus's first call of the game yesterday was incredible. I mean, he fired Ye right off the edge and got a chance to tackle Rico for a TFL or a no-yard gain. And, Ye just kind of the way he comes in, he gets kind of bumped and he's a little high. And next thing you know, Rico goes for 9 yards. So I think part of it is getting these guys to practice together and communicate, because that's a big part of it too.
Is it tough to put Wilson out in center field like that sometimes?
Who?
Donovan Wilson.
No, I don't think so. I mean, Donovan's a great player. I mean, again, you love him down around the box because of how physical he is. I think they did a good job. They schemed us up yesterday, and they kind of moved the receiver to get away from Donovan to get him out of the box, and they kind of were running the ball at ready and some of the nickel stuff we were doing. But no, I think, we all realize Donovan's strengths. But again, that, those things happen sometimes when you're out there, and sometimes it's got to do with pass rush and other things that affect, those looks.
All righty. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
So I want to show you something from yesterday. I want to show you something from yesterday that we have been kind of, it's the fourth down play that we were talking about with, if you'll notice, this is the play that a lot of people were talking about. Okay, so it's 4th and 3. Let's see here. So it's 4th and 3. And here's Kyer Elam playing way, way, way off. And so everybody is asking the question of why is Kyer Elam playing so far off Renfro on, as you can see clearly here, it's only a 4th and 3, right? But I want you to see something that Matt Eberflus did. And you can tell that they're trying to do some doggone trickery here. So right here, and y'all tell me, because this makes no sense to me. So this is Murray Jr. right here. Murray is right here. Linebacker, right? Can somebody tell me why Murray is down in a 4-point stance? Murray is on the line in a 4-point stance on 4th and 3. And I'm assuming that he's trying to give the, he's trying to give the perception that he's going to rush the passer. When in reality, when the ball is snapped, he's going to kind of go up in here a little bit, but he's supposed to be in pass coverage. And what he's supposed to do is that he is supposed to beat Renfro to the spot. If there's a slant, he's supposed to be here. So they were trying to be slick and disguise a coverage. I don't understand why would you have him in a 4-point stance as if he's quick enough to get up and get to this magic spot to where Bryce Young is going to throw the ball. This play is, we can call this isn't Elam's fault. This play is actually designed for Elam to disguise this as if he's giving him the first down. It's designed for this. Murray is supposed to be in this area. Watch this. Jesse would know I showed this today. Watch this. Let me show you how this looks in fast motion. You're going to see this in fast motion. It's going to blow your mind. I saw this today and I was like, boy, this is crazy. This is what you call being too cute. Let me see. Okay, let me show you this play in motion. Now, watch this play in motion. Hope we don't get copyright written on it. But watch this play in motion. Watch it play out. That play, okay, I thought Murray was right here on the end. Where is he? Okay, I'm mistaken. Hold on a second. So let me go back to my diagram. Murray is lined up in the middle. This play is purposely designed for this. That Murray is supposed to run all the way from the left side of the line. I'm sorry, I'm mistaken on that. Murray is right here. Y'all hold on a second. Let me pull this up. I got this on 3 different screens. All right. So let me go back. I'm sorry. Murray is here. Murray is down here. They put Murray all the way on the left side of the line. And again, Murray is supposed to get here. Explain to me, how is he going to do it? Murray's not that fast. I'm sorry, the end, he actually rushes. This player rushes off the end. So he's in the right spot. But this play is designed for Murray. And this is exactly what Brian just explained. This play was designed for Murray to get over here. Somebody explain to me how is Murray that fast? That he's going to get all the way to this point to break up this play. And when you look at it in fast motion, he was just like a second, maybe a half a second too slow. But who wouldn't expect him to be half a second too slow? Who wouldn't expect it? Now watch the play in fast motion. Watch Murray all the way down here at the bottom, like he's going to rush from the left side. But then, look, that has to be one of the most bonehead defensive play designs. This is a bonehead play design. I do not understand that play. That scheme. Elam was doing what he was told to do. They tried to fool the Panthers into thinking that Elam was playing off because they wanted Murray to come over and get the underneath. He reacted I don't understand it. Every time I look at it, it's insane to me. We killed Elam. Why is Elam 8 yards off? Because it was designed like that. It was designed like that. That's crazy play calling to me. Crazy play calling. It's the only way I can explain it to you. That's coaching. That is absolutely coaching. There is no getting around it. It's absolutely coaching. Period. End of story. Period. End of story. I don't know if y'all had already seen that, but that was crazy. It was pure coaching. It was pure coaching. There is no way I'm going to have Murray lined up on the left side of the defensive line and make him speed over there and get to the right-hand side of the defense to try to break up a slant play by Renfro. Man, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Brandon said 104 points in 3 games, and you only got 1 win. Most teams would kill to have those kind of points. They would kill to have those kind of points. But Brian is clearly saying that the offense needs to focus on scoring every time they touch the ball. Well, I'm pretty sure everybody's focus is on scoring every time they touch the ball, but it's just not realistic that you're going to score a touchdown. Let me show you something else that's insane I was looking at earlier. You want to see some more buffoonery? Look at this right here. So when you ask the question, who hired Eberflus? Let me show you something that's astounding. Look how many of Matt Eberflus's coaches are on the Dallas Cowboys. Matt Eberflus, former head coach of the Bears. He brought his linebackers coach. He bought his defensive back coach. He even bought his defensive passing game coordinator coach. And he bought his defensive line coach. Who's the head coach here? So we're saying that Brian Schottenheimer basically wanted to bring in Matt Eberflus's entire coaching staff almost. His entire defensive coaching staff. This is nasty work to me. I truly believe this is a mistake by the Cowboys. And y'all already know I already had this energy before. I was talking about this doggone bend don't break nonsense from Matt Eberflus from the beginning. I thought it was hogwash. I thought it was absolute hogwash. This doggone bend don't break nonsense by Matt Eberflus. I've been thinking it was hogwash. We're gonna skip over Stephen Jones because Stephen Jones said most of the same things that Brian Schottenheimer said. We're gonna skip over that, and if we get a chance to do Cowboys After Dark tonight, we'll come back to that. I want to listen to this interview. I want y'all to listen to a couple interviews before we get out of here. Wanye Thomas. Wanye Thomas gave a heartfelt reaction to the Cowboys loss. And then we'll listen to some of the new stuff from the day. But I want you to hear Wanye Thomas. I didn't get a chance to hear all of it, but I saw a little piece of it. Let's check out Wanye Thomas on this player interview. Check it out.
Bad day. What happened? Man, seen it. We just can't get a stop. Can't get a stop. That's it.
How frustrating is it when you're running the ball with that much success?
Pissed off. Pissed off. That's it.
What led to some of those, big runs that they were able to knock out? Was it assignments or just losing a one-on-one?
11 guys. 11 guys got to get to the ball. Go back and watch it. 11 guys got to get to the ball. It's going to take 11 guys, literally.
So is it effort thing or just assignments or what?
We got great effort. We just got to get to the ball and get it down.
When the offense is scoring like they have the last 6 games, and you guys are
bad.
good. Yeah.
I feel bad. We got the best offense in the league. Literally.
Yeah.
They're going to score. We got to get a stop. So that's on us. I don't know. It's on us.
At least somebody keeping it real. Somebody keeping it real. Wanye Thomas says the Cowboys have the best offense in the league. We got to get a stop. Somebody got to tell the truth. That's why I'm telling y'all when Brian Schottenheimer is saying some of the stuff that he's saying, I'm not believing it. I'm not believing it. I'm not believing these players feel the same way that Brian Schottenheimer feels. I'm not believing it. The big Rambowski, he said Shotty wanted Flus. He said, right. I'm questioning it too. I'm not sure he wanted. I'm not sure he wanted Matt Eberflus. I think he was sold on we're bringing in Matt Eberflus. That's what I believe. Big Rambowski said it. He said Flus was a Jerry hire. Almost every Dallas insider had reported so. Every hire with the Cowboys is a Jerry hire. Always has been, always will be. Yeah, this seemed like he was a hire by Jerry. And I think that's one of the reasons why Jerry didn't show his butt up, because he knew he was going to be asked a ton of questions about how terrible Matt Eberflus is and are you going to fire Matt Eberflus? He didn't want the questions. He didn't want the questions. And that's why I'm telling you, man, Brian Schottenheimer is in dangerous territory. I don't believe these players are feeling the way he's saying they feel. Wanye Thomas is telling the truth. Yeah, bro, we're letting down the quarterback. He's playing too good for us to not to be able to get a stop.
Plus points. I think the defense is going up in 4 or 6 games. Is it like just kind of hard to imagine at this point?
Man, it's frustrating, but like I said, I'm pissed off. We're pissed off on the defense, man. So we've got to be better, and we will be better. Funny as it sounds, we will be better.
So what can change besides just the fact that there are 11 guys? But is there something schematically that you guys can do?
That is an in-house thing. I'm gonna let Flus and all them do that. That is not my job to say who's wrong or right. So I'm gonna let him handle that.
The frustration level is what right now for you guys?
Pissed off. It's nothing. 2 words. Pissed off.
So Rico had said, buckle up, and he goes out and he gets 183.
Yep. He did what he said he was going to do. He rushed for 200 and some yards. So kudos to him. We've got to be better.
Does that make it even harder that he said buckle up and then still did that?
Nah, but the game's over with now. That's behind me. He did what he did. So, like I said, kudos to him.
How do you guys respond?
We got to respond in a great way at home, and we will. Promise you that. So, yes, sir.
Yeah. Powerful by Wanye Thomas, man. Powerful. Powerful, man. Yeah. Michael H., He said it's obvious the players haven't bought into Flu's system. Maybe Flus hasn't bought into the defensive personnel. I think it's both. I think you hit it right on the head. Tell it like it is. I like what you said. It's crazy because every single play versus the Eagles went to I'm not going to call Lamb Butterfinger, but I get your point. Went to Butterfinger Lamb, but Pickens they go away from. Makes no sense. They had no answer for him yesterday. They had no answer for him, so why in the world do you not keep going to Pickens in the most crucial moment? Yeah, Poopy D, I look like they said he's going to be back. I think they're going to win the game. I think they're going to win the game on Sunday, and they're going to tick everybody off, because how do you lose to the Panthers, but then you beat the Commanders? Big Rombowski, the Panthers didn't stop the run. Dallas had to abandon the run because the defense couldn't stop Carolina from running the ball. A little football IQ, please. Yeah. USMC, what's going on? He said, Brian Broaddus, Jerry. He said, confirmed by Brian Broaddus, Jerry picked Eberflus. And isn't it crazy? Can somebody tell me again, what did Jerry Jones see that he decided to bring on Eberflus and Eberflus staff? I'm not buying it. The Chicago Bears, I don't care what anyone said, they were not good. Chicago Bears were not good. And to me, when people start talking about success, Matt Eberflus has had success, everywhere he's been. Bro, you know what I call success? Super Bowl. NFC championship runs. I'm not calling what Matt Eberflus has done success. I'm not calling it that. I'm going to go out there and pay. Man, I'm telling you, I think the one coach that we missed out on is Robert Saleh. If that's his name, the guy from that went back to the San Francisco 49ers. I don't care what the 49ers were trying to pay him. I would have paid it. You want to change your defense? You want your defense to be physical? You want your defense to be nasty? Bring in a guy like that. He'll change your entire defense. He'll change it for you. I wish the Cowboys would have brought him in. And again, the Matt Eberflus hire, man, I'm telling you, I was kind of scratching my head from the get-go. But again, of course, you're trying to give, Jerry the benefit of the doubt, and, you're hoping that it's a Matt Eberflus pick. It's a Brian Schottenheimer pick, but I don't think he was a Brian Schottenheimer pick. I think he was clearly a Jerry Jones pick, and I do believe this is one of the reasons why Jerry Jones ducked out on everybody on Sunday. I can't remember the last time I've seen Jerry Jones duck out. Jerry Jones literally ducked out because I don't think he wanted to answer questions about Matt Eberflus. He ducked out. But I tell you this, Brian Schottenheimer's in dangerous territory. Yeah, Gary Bookwalt, he said Diggs is doing it already too. Eberflus, that's a fact. Yeah. Hey, Gary, whatever Trayvon Diggs is saying, that's coming from the team. That's coming from the defense. He ain't the only one feel like that. I'm not believing that Trayvon Diggs is speaking out in the way that he spoke out and he's the only one thinking that. No. Trayvon Diggs is saying what some of them all are saying. I believe he's saying what all of them are saying. Or at least some of them are saying. Now, Wanye Thomas, he don't want to rock the boat. But Trayvon Diggs, I believe, feels like, man, he ain't got nothing to lose. I believe Trayvon Diggs know he's not going to be here next year. Trayvon Diggs is just spelling it out. He's spelling it out, and sometimes the truth hurts. I don't know what else to tell. us. Let me see if I can pull it up where he said that before we get out of here. But yeah, I'm telling you, man, Trayvon Diggs ain't saying nothing. Okay, so it says he said this via. Okay, this came. I'm pretty sure there's a video to this. I just hadn't seen it. But it was reported by Calvin Watkins. Trayvon Diggs to the Sports Day DFW. He said, yeah, it's frustrating. It's all these points given up. The receivers are running wide open down the field. Too many busted coverages. It's a lot. He says, I feel like we're all over the place and we really don't have no identity. Man. I'm telling us. These players are going to get tired of taking this heat, man. They're going to get tired of taking this heat, and they're going to start speaking out more and more. They're going to start speaking out more and more, I guarantee you, because they're tired of being made fun of, because everybody's blaming them for all the mishaps on this defense, and they're screaming and telling people, nah, man, this dude's play design. And again, I just showed y'all the play. How in the world do you line up Murray Jr. on the left side of the defense, and you're going to have him to try to beat the slant on Renfro and having Kyer Elam play 8 yards off? Yep, Wilson Santiago, he said, G, you said 2026 will win the Super Bowl. Yep, I still believe it. I still believe it. Because I'm telling you, it seems like to me, unless they make some huge changes, 2025 is just an evaluation on defense. That's all it is. There is no way you can have Dak Prescott playing like this and not do something to say, we got to make some changes to make sure we take advantage of this. Jakira, she said, I understand this is Overreaction Monday, but I really think Shotty will get it together. And he really, she said he really boo-booed his pants instead of put his big draws on. Yeah. Yeah, I'm still with him, Jakira. And again, this is Overreaction Monday. I'm done with it after the day because I'm on to the doggone Washington Commanders because I fully believe the Cowboys are going to put foots in the Washington Commanders. But one of the things that Brian Schottenheimer is going to have to change is, man, you can't say that every team is the same and every game is the same, man. Sometimes some of these games, it is a necessity that you've got to get your team up for them. And I think especially some of these games where it's predicted that you're supposed to win these games, man, you better get up because every team is getting up for the Cowboys. Every team is getting up for the Cowboys. Ice Wall Cowboy. Lack of adjustment. Look like McCarthy, and that scares me, G. Yeah. Ryan R., I can tell you this. He said letting go of Rico was a mistake. Well, Rico proved it. Too Tall Jones. He said, G, that was Bland playing corner, not Elam. Okay, that was Bland. Okay, sorry on that mistake. A lot of people were killing Bland on that end, Too Tall Jones. But that play was designed like that. That play was absolutely designed like that. And it's a poorly designed play. How you gonna line Murray that far up on that side of the field? At least line him up in the middle. Stupid, man. Byron Joe DeVee, appreciate that super chat. Yeah, Matt Eberflus must go, but he ain't going nowhere. Y'all might as well get ready. Matt Eberflus is here to stay, guys. I'll be shocked. I'll be more shocked at Matt Eberflus being let go of than I was when the Cowboys let go of Micah Parsons. I don't see it happening. I don't. I think the Cowboys not only gonna let him stay through this year, man, I wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys let that joker stay through next year too. I think he's a part of the plan. I do. But Brian knows what he's got to do. Brian knows doggone well that he's going to have to score touchdowns. He's going to have to score 5 touchdowns a game. Shoo, I'm with you. I'm with you at Moke Wheels. Shoo, play a 9-man box. Shoo, I'm with you. Yeah, Seabass, he said they may have a point. You've been around the league for how many years, and we saw what on the last series where you couldn't score, setting aside the defense for a moment. Man, I'm going to tell you something, Seabass. Brian gets a little cute sometimes. Brian gets a little too cute sometimes. We've seen it a couple of times already. But I think he will get it together. You know what? I'm not worried about Brian Schottenheimer. He's got Dak Prescott. I'm not worried. He's got Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Cavonte Turpin, Javonte Williams, Man, I ain't worried about Brian Schottenheimer. He gonna be all right. But they gotta do something about this defense. Because if they don't do something about this defense, shoot, they gonna do just like they did in Chicago. They gonna get tired of all this stuff about the people talking about how bad they are, and they gonna start speaking out. And they gonna start really let the cat out of the bag. Cowboys star, you should have bumped Renfro on the line. I agree. Brian Schottenheimer said it was a good call. No, it was a terrible call. Terrible call. Terrible. All right, guys. 7:28. I'm gonna let you guys go watch some football. And if I can keep my eyelids up, we're gonna do Cowboys After Dark tonight. And we'll come back and we'll listen to Stephen Jones and see what else has come across the wire. But I can tell you this. Y'all might as well prepare yourself. Matt Eberflus ain't going nowhere. Matt Eberflus is going to be the coach of the Cowboys. You can tell by the look on his face. He's coaching with confidence, and he's stinking it up out there. And they're going to keep blaming the players, and the players going to get tired of it, and somebody going to start speaking up, and then things going to go haywire. Brian Schottenheimer got it. Talk is cheap. Bullcorn runs a marathon. He said we going to fix it. Well, I'm going to wait and see. I want to see it. I'm going to wait and see. You said you're going to fix it. I'm going to wait and see. All right, guys. Again, appreciate y'all rocking with me today. Until the next time, DC4L, God bless. Let's talk Cowboys and we talk facts. Peace.